What's going on, everybody? How's everyone doing out there? Alex Cuesta here, Alex Cuesta Show. Just jumping in, have some fun tonight. This isn't a formal show, not like we do on the Wednesday nights and things like that where we have guests. I'm just popping in, going live, just to kind of shoot the shit. Say hello. What's going on? I hope everyone enjoyed our boy Hack No Cap on that intro. You can go find him everywhere, Spotify and all that type of stuff. Go be a follower of his. But yeah, today is just going to be a chill time. Maybe spend an hour or so just hanging out, talking. Got a few topics that I want to talk about, covering maybe some things that happened over the past few days, today, all that good stuff. Anyone that wants to, give a like, share, follow YouTube, give us a subscription there. Dave may be popping in at some point. You never know who might jump in on days like today. So if you want to jump in the chat as well, that'll be big. Whatever you want to talk about, just throw it in the chat. If you want to switch some gears, I'll talk about whatever the hell anybody wants to talk about. So let's get it popping. We're going to get going with a few topics, like I said, that I want to jump in with. We're going to start off with some of the crazy shit that's been going on, because the world has not stopped being insane, especially around this election. Now, all of these aren't necessarily going to be like uber political all the time. It's just today it's set up that we have a few political topics. Going to get into some nerdy things, maybe a little sports things. Like I said, if the chat wants to go a certain way, we'll go there. So definitely leave a chat. If you're watching on X, leave a comment. That'll jump into the chats there and things like that. So we're going to start off talking about Trump. I know he's polarizing. Everyone talks about Trump, but talking about Trump, specifically the fact that it's just come out that Trump has been briefed that by the intelligence agencies that there is a credible threat on his life coming from the Iranians. Now, this is a guy that has survived now 2 assassinations, and you wouldn't even know that he survived these assassinations, which is the most ridiculous part, because like a lot of things that the media doesn't like, they swept it under the rug. And I know if you listen to any sort of, I guess, alternative or conservative media, they like to ring the bell about the fact that in less than 2 months, Trump has survived 2 assassination attempts. He had the one over in Butler, PA, that everyone knows about, which he's returning back to that outdoor venue because the man has balls of steel. And then he had the one down in Mar-a-Lago now only a few weeks ago. Seems like forever ago, because the news has decided not to cover this stuff. They've decided that this cycle, it's done. We don't care. We're getting rid of it. This news cycle is all we need to know. Cover it a little bit, maybe throw some doubt on it. And that's about it. We're finding out bits and pieces. We know that Ryan Ralph, I don't know how the fuck you say his name, but he's being now officially brought up on charges of an attempted assassination because they found a letter, which, again, if you go into all that, where he left a box for his neighbor, open this, it's so convoluted and weird. And it seems like it's set up out of a bad movie. And now there's another layer that's been added. And it's the fact that intelligence agency, some of its intelligence people that communicate with the former president, have told him that there is credible threats from Iran. Now, I have an article up here that I want to talk about, because Donald Trump is Donald Trump. No one responds and reacts to things the way he does. After the first assassination attempt, hopping up and yelling, fight, 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 which, reassured all of his supporters that he's fine, pissed off all the leftists about the fact that they said it was staged and he did it and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, those people can fuck off. A person died over there and 2 people were seriously injured. And, you'll ask some leftists, the ones that are brainwashed, and they'll say he's willing to do that. He doesn't care about anybody. So they can all fuck off. But he responds that way with the fight, 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 and then, goes right to the RNC and does things like that and seems unfazed. And then after the second assassination attempt, wants to finish his hole and wants to finish his game. He's more upset by the fact that he can't finish through. So Trump responds in only the way that Trump can. And now, coming on the heels of this one, with the credible news that Iran wants to kill him, this is how he responded. So let's pull this up right here. This was his response. Boom. So Trump says he would blow any nation threatening the presidential candidate to smithereens. Now, I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but we'll get some of it here. So he had choice words for Iran on Wednesday, claiming that if he were reelected, he would blow Iran to smithereens if a U.S. presidential candidate were attacked. Here's his quote, and it was over in Mint Hill, North Carolina. If I were the president, I would inform the threatening country, in this case, Iran, that if you do anything to harm this person, we are going to blow your largest cities and your country itself to smithereens. But right now, we don't have that leadership or the necessary people. Now, this is from the Washington Examiner quote, and this article was from yesterday. Now, I find this hilarious because this is akin to the way a lot of people fell on Trump with the way he talked, with the way he tweeted, with that type of stuff, with talking about Little Rocket Man, with North Korea and, the bigger red button. And this absolutely sounds and smells exactly like that type of stuff, where he just has the balls to call things out and to talk about things as they are and as he sees them. It was the Office of Director of National Intelligence that briefed the president on Tuesday. That's what it says here, regarding real and specific threats from Iran to assassinate him in an effort to destabilize and sow chaos in the United States. Now, I have my doubts. Number one, this is the IC community that absolutely hates Trump and wanted to, get him out of there as much as he can. And Nate, what's going on? I see you there with the Woe Bonus Show. Nate, this is a little bit different. This is just me shooting the shit here today. If you have anything that you want us to talk about, Nate, throw it in the chat, because I will, today's kind of a switch up day. I have a few things I want to talk about, but I'll absolutely interact with the chat more today and kind of talk about what you guys want to talk about. Right now, Nate, I'm talking about the credible threats of assassination from Iran. So this is the same the intelligence community that absolutely wanted Trump out. And it's notable that the FBI used the FISA courts with the fake Steele dossier, which, again, no one talks about the Steele dossier anymore. No one talks about the fact that the FBI absolutely used fake documents in order to get spies on the Trump campaign. Now, we had Simona Mangiante Papadopoulos, who is the wife of George Papadopoulos, who was like the center of all of that shit that went on. They went after him harder than anybody else. Tried to put him in jail for being a spy and things like that. And it's absolutely wild what they did to people like George and others that were involved there. So this community does not like Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump has no choice but to listen, because he is a former president. These are the people that he's relying on to protect him with the Secret Service and things like that. But overall, you can't trust these people with what they're saying and how they're putting things, because these fucking people hate Donald Trump. They don't want him back there. He's going to expose, or we hope he's going to expose, because there's nothing to guarantee what Trump does. Trump is Trump. And we saw in his first term that he kind of played nice. Now, we're hoping if he gets back in, he could be a little more of that bull in the china shop that we wanted. But he absolutely shouldn't trust these people. These are the same people that have lied to him. They lied to him about Syria. He wanted to get out of Syria, and they told him, yeah, we'll get out, and then they didn't. So these are not people to be trusted. So they're saying there's credible threats from Iran. Now, this is not the first time that we've heard Iran pop up. Every single assassination attempt that we have had against him, the first one, they're saying it was absolutely, the Iran plot, that was part of it. Second one, they were mentioned. And then this one, now all of a sudden, the third one is Iran. It really seems like they're trying to push Iran. Now, I have a few theories as to why. My first one is Iran does hate Donald Trump. You have to remember, after the Obama regime gave them billions of dollars, he was the one that came in and dropped the Iran nuclear deal, said, we don't want to be a part of this anymore. He's a bad actor, and they could fuck off. Hey, there he is. What's up, Dave?
Hola.
Just popping in with, I'm talking about the nonsense about the intelligence community saying that there's a credible threat from Iran. So I'm kind of talking about my theory there. So just jumping back in, Nate's here. Nate says hello. He's pumped that we got a bonus show.
Yes.
But overall, Iran doesn't like Donald Trump. He ended the Iran nuclear deal that the Obamas did, that the Obama-Biden regime did. So they already don't like him. And I think the intelligence community is using this to try and drum things up. Now, what would be the best way? Right now, the intelligence community, the war apparatus, the leftists, they want war more than anything right now. They're trying, Biden just announced $8 billion more to fucking Ukraine today, which we could touch on if we want on that. But he announced that they want war. They're trying to get us into Ukraine. They really want us to get in with the Israel-Palestinian war. All right, if you say Israel-Palestine, Palestine's not a place. The Israel-Palestinian war. And, it's one of those things where I just think that they're trying to drum up war. What a better way to get war and try and get the people that support Donald Trump to side war, to be like, hey, this country wants to kill your favorite person. And if they can get Trump to start rallying and going, fuck Iran. When I get in there, we're going to go after him. They want to kill me. They believe that MAGA will rally around him and do that. So that's my main theory, is that the international community is trying to use the absolute disdain that Iran definitely has for Trump and trying to get his supporters to back him. Dave, do you have anything to say about what's going on with Trump and the Iran stuff?
I mean, that's probably correct. Like you said, Iran definitely doesn't like Trump. It would be no surprise for them to want to kill Trump. Absolutely no surprise. In fact, you probably don't even need to put it out there that they would try, because it's just a redundancy at that point. But I also think that, I don't know, it's just...
Dave, I don't know if you're going through your mic. You sound a little bit echoey. I want to check that. Yeah, you sound a little echoey.
Really?
Sorry about that. But you have a second. Nate jumping in saying he hopes that Trump has a food tester for Georgia, Alabama. Here's the thing. Trump doesn't give a fuck. Trump just gets McDonald's. So it's like Trump watches them do it unless they know the McDonald's he's going to, which I don't know. Ryan Ralph. Yeah, it's much better.
Yeah, it was going through my camera, my webcam. But
and it says, how about credible threat from Ukrainian cough Ryan Ralph? Maybe.
Well, but that's the thing, though, is that because, I mean, you can put this out there, but the DOJ also released Ryan Ralph's fucking little paper where he offered $150,000 to kill Trump. So it's like crazy. There seems to be a lot more of an issue here than just Iran trying to assassinate Trump. It seems like there's a lot more people that want to assassinate Trump.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a whole apparatus that wants to assassinate him, and we know this because I was listening to Tim Cast, and they had Dinesh D'Souza on. And Dinesh D'Souza, the way he put it, he does not believe that the intelligence community is actively trying to kill him, but he believes that they're actively turning a blind eye to things that they would normally not. Which I guess in a way is actively trying to, but maybe someone should be on that roof.
Well, yeah, then wasn't it that he would have like fewer secret, like he can't really go into some swing states because they don't have the Secret Service apparently to be able to cover his events.
They had to cancel Wisconsin. Yeah. They had to cancel Wisconsin because they didn't have enough. And it's crazy to think. And, I'm curious. We need to find out what Kamala's detail is when she's out. Because Kamala is the leading candidate for the Democrat Party. Mm-hmm. She's also only the vice president. And I say only because she's not the president. And Trump is a former president and the leading candidate for the presidency right now. If you're looking at all intents and purposes, if you're doing Nate Silver in a lot of the polls, Trump is the leading candidate right now ahead of Kamala. So I don't know. I think it's odd what's going on now. Let's see right here. Yeah, Trump goes on in North Carolina yesterday. Meanwhile, we have the president of Iran in our country this week. We have a large security forces guarding him, probably bigger than what Trump's getting. And yet they're threatening our former president and the leading candidate to become the next president of the United States. Certainly a strange set of circumstances. Now, only Donald Trump could be this fucking calm. Now, obviously, he's probably saying it with some gusto. But only Trump could be this calm when it comes to things like this. Like, they actively want to kill the guy. And he's just like, yeah, that guy's just in our country. This is really stupid. And they're right in New York. So it's bizarre. But yeah, so that's what's going on there. And that, Dave, do you have anything you want to bring to the table? Because I have a few topics set up.
No, I was going to roll with whatever you had.
It's going to roll with whatever I have. That's okay. Yeah. That's okay. I like that plan. So we're going to get this out of here. Now, like I said, no, Dave, what are you doing over there?
I like our dynamic.
Yeah, no, we're not. Well, this is the Gizzard Wastelands where Goku and Vegeta fought. That's my background.
My bad. I just saw a lot of blue.
I was going to put Namek.
Shadows. My bad.
Yeah, I was going to put Namek, but I figured this would be a little different. I got the logo out of there too. So, like I was explaining before, anyone that's joining in new, this is not our formal show. I'm going to be trying to jump in live a little more often just to shoot the shit. So, Nate, if you're around, I'm going to try to be in as much as possible, even sometimes on the weekends, just jumping in for an hour or so, maybe discussing topics of the day, mixing some sports, mixing some politics, doing a little bit of everything, just because we need to get more involved in here. We need to talk to you guys more and do more than just, our little interview and things like that, because I want to hear what you guys have to say and stuff. So we're going to be doing that. So I'm jumping into this next topic, David. And this one is interesting because I'm conspiracy theorying the fuck out of this. Okay. Mayor Adams, the New York City Mayor Eric Adams, has been indicted for 5 counts. Now, let me pull up. CNN has a story here. Boom. And I know CNN, but still, they have the story. So let's go through here. I don't want to go through too much in the story because I actually don't give a fuck what Eric Levison has to say or Selena Tibor has to say. But they do have the 5 counts. So the allegations are he secretly solicited and accepted freebies and illegal campaign donations from wealthy foreigners, including Turkish officials, as far back as 2014. Now, that goes back into the time when he was still in the police force as a police chief. So I don't know how that plays. Obviously, if you're getting into higher levels of the police force in NYPD, you're essentially becoming a politician. So these are the actual 5 counts: bribery, wire fraud, conspiracy, 2 counts of soliciting campaign contributions from foreign nationals. Mayor Adams has denied everything, says he wants to defend himself. Now, here is my biggest thing coming out of this. I actually don't fucking care about any of that. I assume that they're all corrupt. I assume that it doesn't matter if there's an R or D next to their name. If you're a major politician from a big city, you're probably corrupt as fuck, right? I assume that. What I want to know is, what did he know about Diddy? If we're being really serious, and that's not even a joke, because he's been in New York City as long as possible. Diddy's a billionaire. Jay-Z, these people, when you get to that level, the cops kind of look the other way. They know what's going on. They know everything you're doing, but they kind of look the other way on all this shit. He had to know. At least have a peripheral view of what was going on at the Diddy parties over in the New York City, because Diddy ran New York City for the longest time. So I really want to know what he knew.
I don't know if it's about that. I think it's more, it's better speculation on, the guy under him is a leftist, like literal defund the police kind of guy that would become mayor if Eric Adams has actually made the step down and resign and everything. So it would make more sense that, look, if he did the shit, he did the shit, obviously. But the question is, if Eric Adams didn't like say anything about the migrants in New York City, would he still be indicted on these things? That's the real question.
He did support Kamala, though. He came out and fully endorsed her. I don't know if that was
that's whatever, but like endorsing Kamala is entirely different from voicing your opinion against migrants in a city. Because if you haven't noticed, in every Western country, there's a big push for migrants to be everywhere from other countries. So like endorsing Kamala, that doesn't matter. It's whether or not you endorse the migrants going in and this massive fucking population change that is being made to happen. So I like I said, if he did it, no shit. But it's just, if he had said nothing about what's going on, and he did say some things about like, this is a major problem that's not going to go away. But if he just really said nothing, would he still be indicted on these things? I don't know. I legitimately don't know. With how heavily corrupt a lot of these things are, it's hard to say whether or not he would have still been indicted on any of this shit if he just went along with whatever the migrant stuff that's going down in NYC.
Yeah. I think you have a point there where he went against the regime, and that is the big problem, that he went against what the regime wants. And, we've seen this, that they have no problem stamping their own down when they're going out and stepping out. Now, I think it's interesting, though, because I've said for a long time, the president is obviously the most powerful person in the country. And then in terms of politicians, you have the New York City mayor is probably in the top 5, at least top 10 most powerful politicians in the country. So I think it's really interesting to see them kind of go into battle there. And I'm interested to see where Governor Hochul falls here, because Governor Hochul could play a huge role, because this, it might be a federal indictment, but he's a state politician. So is she going to have Mayor Adams back? Or is she going to support?
She's not going to say anything.
She has to. She's a leftist, and
then
she has to support.
Then she'll ask Adams to step down, because to be completely honest, I just don't. I don't see her backing Adams in any way, because I feel like she would have any type of fear for her and whatever she might have done. Because I mean, she was just selected. She wasn't an elected Well, no, she actually eventually did.
She beat Lee Zeldin. Yeah,
I forgot that she did beat Lee Zeldin afterwards, which she New York's crazy.
In her defense, though, lieutenant governor and governor is much more important in this race in New York. From me being in here, we pay attention to who the lieutenant governor is, because there's so much fucking corruption. There's a really good chance that they're going to be governor. So, but she did beat Lee Zeldin.
No, I just corrected myself immediately. I was like, wait a minute, they did have a vote. but like, I feel like she would still be worried about anything that could happen if she were to go against whatever this indictment is. I think she might just ask Adams, like, look, there's a lot of heat. This is not.
We need to win an election. This doesn't look great.
Exactly.
And and Nate, he would really have to mess up to get us in New York. That's the thing, Nate. He did really mess up. He didn't just accept the migrants, where he initially said the right thing. He's a sanctuary area, this and that, blah blah. And mind you, though, Eric Adams came in real quick, Dave.
Yeah,
he came in as a law and order mayor.
Yeah.
He was a cop guy. He was a law and order mayor. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't out of the norm for him to come and be like, hey, I can't do what I need to do over here. So we need to get these people out. And you know what? It's not even that he asked to get people out. He just wanted more assistance. Yeah. That was his initial plea. It wasn't to get them to leave.
Yeah.
He wanted more federal assistance.
The thing is, if he had taken like the Sadiq Khan route from London, basically saying like knife attacks are part and parcel of city living. Like if he were to say something like that.
Punching Asians in the face is awesome.
Yeah. If he were to say something like that, then like I don't know if he would be indicted. That's the thing.
Maybe not.
But that's the issue though, is because trust in our systems and our institutions have been so eroded that my statement right there is not something completely out of fucking ordinary to say.
As it should be.
What I said with me saying, questioning whether he'd be indicted should be like, okay, that's a little crazy. But most people nowadays be like, no, I could see it.
Yeah.
So that's bad. When you need to have trust in your institution.
So I saw something, I don't know, let me see if I can find it real quick. I saw something Cernovich said, and I'm curious your take on it, Dave. Let me see.
I think I saw a couple things.
Quick. And it was particular to Mayor Adams. Now, Cernovich tweets all the fucking time, so let's see if I can find this.
Yeah, he tweets like a fucking girl.
He does. He tweets like a madman. Like, I like Mike Cernovich. I like his things, but I can never be as online as some of these people are.
Oh, it's terminally. Listen, I'm too online, and I'm not as online as they are.
And here's the thing. I get it. This is how they make their living, and like you need to stay on it because you want to. And that's part of the reason why we're going to jump on more, right? To do more engagement and things like that.
I have not seen this video.
Well, this one isn't a video, so this is just
no. What Nate said, but I pulled up.
Oh, hold on. Let me.
Have you guys seen that old video of him teaching people how to search their kids' room for drugs and guns?
Oh no, but let's throw this up real quick from Cernovich. Boom, boom, boom. So Cernovich says over here, I don't like Eric Adams. He's not on my team, which I hate that fucking phrase. Even so, the case against him is bullshit. A flight upgrade is a bribe worth $100,000. In what world? People use Sky Miles for that. Sometimes you get bumped up for free. This man should not even been charged for this. Now, if that is one of the charges, I didn't read. And on CNN, there is the indicting paper. So I did not. I'm going to say this out loud. I did not read all of that. Okay? But that's part of it. I don't know, Cernovich, because if he was given $100K specifically for the flight, if, and yes, they're not necessarily, but depends on where he went, what he did. Was he riding around on a G5? What is it, a private? There are certain things that come with that. If it was $100K in terms of like a bribe, like here, let's get you on this flight. This plane will charter you anywhere. You can have it for the weekend type of thing. and it goes up to that, that's different, right? That's a favor. And I don't care, Cernovich, like it shouldn't be, he's not on my team. If you're in that situation where, again, if you're a police chief in New York City, you're a politician, because that's mostly what you're doing. Yeah. If you're taking bribes like that for people to look the other way, then that is wrong. Yeah, it's wrong.
And that's the thing, though, is that in a vacuum, very obviously, you could just objectively say, no shit, that's wrong. Yeah. And indict again the hell out if it's all true. But we're not in a vacuum. Everything contains context here, and everything contains what could happen. Why was this move made? It's kind of weird. You never see this shit really. So it just doesn't make a ton of sense for him just to be getting indicted out of blue. Like, this is a huge story, as it should be. Yeah. So, no shit. If he does it, it's a crime. He should be taken into jail. He should be indicted. All these things should happen. But we don't live in a world where that's just part and parcel of being a politician, to steal an English term, like I said before. But that's not how this works in this country right now. So
that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
Well, it's just not. It's not how it's happening in this country right now.
There's so many clips that I need to get.
We have corruption rampant, and a lot of politicians get away with it. So you question why some politicians don't get away with it when they don't. That's the thing. And that's what makes it such a contentious topic.
Yeah, 100%. And, more will unfold. They're going to go forward. Now, Dave, like you mentioned, is this like kind of an inside job? Because is this a Letitia James, Andrew Cuomo type of thing where they just want him out? Mm-hmm. Has he done something more that we don't know of the immigrant thing? Is he actually, because you know what? There was a little while at the beginning of Eric Adams' term where he was trying to do some law and order stuff, where he was putting more plainclothes police officers on the ground and things like that. And I don't know. Obviously, he talked positive about bail reform when New York State passed it. I don't know if he's truly a bail reform guy because, he really did talk tough about law and tried to do some things that would have tightened up the law in the city. And then other things happened in Albany, and he's the kind of superseded what he wanted to do. So I'm not giving Mayor Adams any sort of true credit. No. I'm just saying the guy kind of got fucking hosed. What he ran on, he could never actually do. And you saw some maybe veiled attempts to do it. And I wonder how much further he would have been able to go if New York State just kind of stayed out of his way there. So, Dave, do you have the video of him teaching people to search? No, you pulled that up, you said?
Hold up. I did not say I pulled it up.
I thought you said you did. So, really quick, Nate, I want to ask you, you said you went 14-4 against the spread last weekend for college, gearing up for college football. Were you 14-4 college ball or pro ball or just overall? Because 14-4 is really fucking good. That is not easy to go against the spread 14-4. You beat Vegas 14 times. That's not easy. Vegas knows everything. But yeah, so I mean, again, I got no love lost for Mayor Adams. I think he sucks. I think he's made the city worse. We haven't had a really good mayor since Rudy. It's crazy to see the turn some of these people have done. But did you find it, Dave?
Yeah, I believe so.
Let's see. Pull it on up. Let's go. Boom. Go ahead and play it. Let's see this thing.
Am I up? Okay.
You're up.
I will show you how to search a room to ensure that you remove illegal handguns and other contraband from your home. What I would like to show here is to empower parents on how to search a room inside their home. It's imperative that you should know what's inside your household. And no one can state that you can't search a room in your own home. You write the Constitution. There are no First Amendment rights inside your household. It is your obligation and responsibility not only to protect the child that may be using an illegal drug.
Real quick, what is this music?
Yeah.
Part of me want to ask you if you put that on.
No, when I first heard the music, I was like, is he trying to seduce us? Like, is he going to start taking off buttons as he's saying it? Like what the fuck is going on?
It's really, this is not background music. I'm sorry. I'm
actually loving it. I think Mayor Adams, you know what? If he wants to save his career, he needs to remake this video.
Well, apparently he was, this article is about him wanting to remake it or something. I don't know. Please. I didn't really read the article.
Now. He absolutely needs to now.
I'm sorry. Okay.
No, keep going. 4 minutes and 49 seconds. We're not watching.
But you also have to protect the members of the household, their younger brothers and younger sisters, and the other elder members of the household. So by periodically sending a message to your home that there are no rooms off limits, you don't believe in locked doors, your house is open to inspection by your house.
So he's teaching people to be a fucking parent.
The message is You expect your children
Yes.
to do what's right, but you always have to inspect what you expect. And that's the key
He
to
actually
provide
does
us
a
some
search.
preventive safety.
Oh, Jesus.
So if you come to a room like this, you can start out, I always recommend
Maybe
to
we
start
won't.
out in a periodic fashion so you'll be used to going through the room to look at the various items in the room. You can look in the jewelry box. A jewelry box of this nature, maybe a simple jewelry box, but if you look through it closely, you don't know what your child may be hiding. For instance, a gun could be hidden.
Holy
Small
shit.
weapon could be hidden
A little piece
inside
here.
a
What?
jewelry box.
We
Look
just
at
got taken up on
various
YouTube with guns
colognes
there.
and perfumes and photos and pictures.
YouTube,
You
we
should
didn't know that was
always, when
coming.
your child brings in
Sorry.
his popular knapsack with many different locations, look through it to see what exactly is your child carrying.
Hold on one second.
In
Stop this
addition
real
to a
Knapsack or book bag, Dave? What do you call it?
I call it a book bag.
I've heard so many more people calling it a knapsack lately. It drives me fucking crazy.
So-
My mother-in-law calls it a knapsack. No one's taking a nap in that sack.
No, knapsack to me makes me think of like something you bring for a sleepover.
Yeah,
I have
like
your
you're-
stuff for a sleepover.
Yeah,
That's what
yes.
a knapsack makes me think of.
That
book
is a
bag is
book
something
bag.
that you bring to school.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's I don't know. That's just
That
how
just
I
bothers me all the time.
differentiate them.
Go for it.
book. Something simple as a crack pipe, a used
Thank
crack
you,
pipe.
Dave.
Could he
Crack
have found
pipe?
it on the street?
What?
That's quite possible. But this is a discussion piece where you should start speaking with him to find out what is he doing with it.
The crack pipe
the
is
whole
just a
use of
discussion
drugs.
piece?
This invokes conversations. Look at picture frames and behind them, cameras.
Nate, thank you so
Try
much.
to determine what's taking place. Behind a picture frame, you can find bullets. What does that mean to find bullets? Does it mean your
Holy
child
shit.
is carrying a gun? No. Where there's smoke, there's possible fire. Where
This
there's a
fucking
bullet,
kid is
there's
just
possibly
running
a
shit.
gun. You should engage in the conversation and find out what are they doing with the item, and this empowers the parents. Look at all the items
Nate,
inside the
book bag or
room
backpack
and feel
are both
around and see
acceptable.
what's the possibility. Something simple
Both are
as
better than
as a
backpack.
baby doll. Could be just a baby doll, but also it could be a place where you can secrete or hide drugs. Run your hands over the pillows and see if you feel anything that's unusual. Like a pillow like this with a button is a perfect invitation to hide something. I've felt something bumpy. I will reach in, see what it is. This one could be
Holy
hidden
shit.
inside a pillow, a gun. Maybe something that you'll think
What the
that can't
fuck?
be hidden there,
Well,
but it can. And
I guess in
happens
the inner
when-
city,
So
but
the
this is
thing
such a
is-
stereotype.
Well, the thing is that he's showing these things, and we're like, "What the fuck?" But these are things that he probably just found kind of normally. He probably found this in these places,
And maybe from
multiple
being
times.
a cop.
Yeah,
and
that's what
doing
I'm
these
saying.
searches.
So like we're saying what the fuck, but I've seen things hidden in some places. So like I'm not gonna say.
Yeah.
But I've seen certain.
Stop
I
putting
haven't
things
seen
in
any
your
of that.
asshole, David.
You know, not like that. That's nowhere to get in concerts with things. But he's definitely seen like this stuff in these spots. That's why he's going over them.
This is actually, you know what this needs? Please, anyone from SNL, if anyone knows from SNL, please get this to him. Can we get a skit? This is an SNL skit.
Well,
It should be.
That it might be. That might be what the article is. So, but we'll finish. It's only a minute.
All right, one more minute. Let's do it.
Person who is carrying this illegal gun
Ew,
is
sure,
in
extra
possession
gas in
of
my
it,
pillows.
but also a child that comes into the room and plays on the bed. They find this gun. Let me tell you what a child would do. A child would take this gun, and because the trigger pull is so hard, they normally take the gun and they point it in their direction to pull down
Gives
on
me
it.
anxiety.
That is
So
true,
many
though.
gun
Kids are-
accidents
yeah,
take
kids are
place
dumb.
merely because the child discovers a gun in the room and believes it's a toy, and they play with the gun. Just look and see what's inside your bookcases. It could be more than just books. Perfect.
Put your
place to
money in your
hide,
books.
Cocaine or other illegal substance inside
Niggas
the
don't
room.
read.
My
Put your money in
message
your
to
books.
you,
I love
you have
Chris
an
Rock.
obligation to
We need to get
protect
that
your
skit
home.
up next.
The First Amendment does not apply to the right of parents
Oh
to
my
go
God.
through their homes to remove contraband or any other unsafe item. There are no First Amendment rights in your home. You have a duty and obligation to protect
Now, what's
members of your
crazy?
household.
Now, what's crazy?
I don't think it was a bad video.
It wasn't a bad video, but what's crazy is nowadays that's not even true anymore. There's no First Amendment rights because a kid will call CPS and tell them like my parent is now invading my space and they're doing X, Y, and Z to me, and CPS will come and search to make sure that house is fine because they got a call. So you can't even. That was 2011. That is now 13 years ago.
Yep.
13 years ago, it's a different world. Eric Adams could not even make that same PSA.
The only thing bad about that video is the background music. That was distracting me the whole time.
I'm going to make that our official background music. I'm going to rip that, and I'm going to make that, instead of our intro music, it's just going to be that, and it's going to be like the cane smoke the whole time.
It just felt weird the whole time.
Was it meant to be like ominous? Because it's like he's finding.
I know it sounded like it was supposed to be like a calming kind of like waiting room kind of music. That's what it felt like it was supposed to be.
Mayor Adams, I will back you 100% if you remake that video in the middle of this scandal.
No. Every time he's at the podium now, he just has that music in the background. As he's
everywhere he looks, he finds a migrant in the room. Everywhere he looks, he pulls out a migrant. Look, people in the pillowcase. Here, this is the perfect spot to be hiding a migrant. They're everywhere. Federal government needs to come and help me.
If SNL had balls, that would have been the skit that they would do. That would 100% be the skit. They would never do. They don't have the fucking
everywhere is
balls
a fucking migrant. One's a Haitian holding a cat. Get back to Ohio. You don't belong in the city. Oh my God. His acting reminds me of Dolomite. I don't know who Dolomite is. Is that bad? Do you know who that is, Dave?
Mm-hmm. I know. Hold on, let me put him up.
No, boy.
You might have seen him.
Probably. So while you're pulling that up, I also want to chit-chat on our next topic because we have exhausted Mayor Adams. SNL, please do your fucking jobs. And if you won't, Ryan Long needs to do that one then, because that would be a great skit for him and his crew to do. Pulling out migrants. Mayor Adams just pulling out migrants. Here's how to search your house for migrants.
If you remember this at all,
throw it up.
I am sharing it.
You have the power. You can pull it up.
Oh yeah. This is the.
I do.
It's an old ass movie. I can pull up a look of him in the movie.
I think I've seen that one.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen that. No, yeah.
You know
honestly,
what the worst part is,
Nate, that's not wrong.
Yeah, but you know what the worst part is? I'm at like my most recent memory of Dolomite is because Scott made me watch the ICP movies that they made.
Oh, they're so bad.
They're awful. But Dolomite's in the first one.
I know he's in the first one. Peak blaxploitation era movies,
yes,
like Black Dynamite, yes.
But
you know what though? They're classics. Honestly, if we're talking, like, they are absolute classics, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
I will say this though, because I've now seen those ICP movies more than once. The first one, when they say Sugar Bear, because that's his name. Every time they say Sugar Bear and the chord strikes is pretty fucking funny. I will say, at first it's like stupid, but as it keeps wearing you down throughout the movie, it's like
it's one of those things that it's dumb, but if they stick to the bit, it's one of those things. If you stick to the bit, it eventually wins. If memes were around back then, it would have been memes. Like, that would have been a meme.
Yeah. All
gang members doing karate fights, crazy bad acting. I have the whole collection. It's insane. I love it.
As you should.
That's fantastic. All right. So let's jump in. We're talking about, Mayor Adams, and let's go into a full-on leftist, Kamala Harris. So it was recent that I think it was one of their co-chairs of her campaign, Chris Coons, went on and was talked about the unrealized gains tax that Kamala Harris wants to do. Now, I found the video. It's a short clip, 31 seconds. And I believe it's on MSNBC of all places that they're questioning him. And he just sticks to the script. And Dave, I want to get your interpretation of what they mean about unrealized gains. Because everything I've also seen is like, they're talking about the ultra rich, which is always their line, right? Ultra rich, my ass. So let me pull this up, make this full screen. It's from the Team Trump Facebook, which I'm surprised they're allowed to have that. Oh, we can also talk about that for a second too when we have a shot. But
about Zuck trying to reach out to Republicans,
lying out of his fucking ass. But let's keep going with this one. Oh, why is it not? No.
Nice, no sound. I love that.
Mouth, Dave.
Probably better that way, honestly.
Yeah, so let's hear it.
taxing on unrealized gains. And while it would not impact me at this point, I do worry that down the road it would be extended. It's just a new way of looking at things to say, we're going to tax what you don't have. That's a sore point, and it's a big deal. Is that something you think she firmly believes in?
I think it's part of the proposals of the campaign, which is to try and find some way to get at this system of buy, borrow, die that allows the very wealthiest Americans to borrow against the unrealized gains in their portfolio.
And it's like everything else, they don't fucking answer the question. I will give credit. CNBC, out of everything, is as straight down the middle as you're going to actually find out of any of those, because they talk money, they talk numbers, and I give CNBC a ton of credit. They will have political people at some points on, and some of their economists lean certain ways. I will say most of them lean left in terms of it, but in terms of just talking numbers, they talk stocks, they talk numbers, and they're pretty. If you actually want fairly decent stock advice outside of Mad Money, because he's a fucking moron, but everything else,
no,
is bet against them.
Best stock advice. Best advice on anything economic, because you know exactly where it's going to land when he makes his forecast.
Okay, so here's my question for you, Dave. We all know that they're lying, that the unrealized gains, they came out and said, it's only going to be for the wealthiest Americans. You go and check the fact check, Snopes, Forbes, they're like, yeah, she wants to do it for only the wealthiest, blah, blah, blah. We know that's nonsense, right? Because they never pulled back on the 87,000 new IRS agents. What the fuck do you think those agents are going to be doing? And it's funny. So what's hilarious today, Dave, and this is anecdotal, and I know these anecdotal stories from people on the internet seem like bullshit. That's fine. You don't have to believe my story. But I was going to get pizza today because we wanted to have pizza. The girls had dance and shit like that. Regular pizza. It's cheese pizza.
No, I meant like where from.
It was from Mel's. It's right over here. It's actually a pretty good pizza.
I just want to make sure it wasn't a chain store.
No. So I was going there and got my pizza or whatever. And I don't even know how I got started on the topic, but I was like randomly shooting the shit with one guy. And he was like, yeah, they want to tax us on everything now. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, now. And he's like, even on the money, I think we were talking about just how much things cost or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like a quick thing. He's like, even on the money you're going to make, they want to tax you with the unrealized stuff. And this was out of the blue, basically. We weren't really talking about Trump, Kamala, anything politics-wise. And it's just like, you don't have to. And this is the thing, too. Their messaging isn't working because that's a common person. I don't know how that person's going to vote. They might not even like Trump. They might vote Kamala. But they just realize that is a tax on your future. And he said, it's like, what's crazy is, say you buy a house for $100K. If it goes up $50K, they're going to tax you on that $50. Yeah, but if it goes up another $50K next year, they tax you $100K more. Not $50K, $100K, because it's $100K more than what
it's potential. They're taxing you on potential, and that's the issue.
And those 87,000 IRS agents are going to be coming after us. That's more agents than millionaires in this country.
Yes.
So they're not going after the ultra wealthy. That is a middle class.
So I will say this, Alex. Kamala Harris grew up in a middle-class family. We have to take that into account. We have to take that into account. And her tax plan, whether you believe it or not, it includes you. You are included in her tax plan. You may not think you are, but you are, because she did grow up in a middle-class family, and she did both the burgers and the fries at McDonald's. So she knows.
Which McDonald's came out, I was like, we have no actual record of her being an employee here at all, which is hilarious with McDonald's. Oh, speaking of also tax plans, did you see that? Who did she say during the debate? Wharton School, and I forget who the other one was, that she said, like, looked at her tax plan and said it was going to be great. Both of them have come out and said it's overblown, and that is not true. That's been swept under the rug by the media. That she has been called out by the two people she referenced, and Trump also going, I went to Wharton School, I know the people there, you're wrong. Like, that was also swept under the rug, the fact that he's like, I went to Wharton School. Like, he basically was like, bitch, I know them. Like,
well, here's the thing, is that...
Oh, real quick, Nate. Who hosts Invest Talk? If you want to, I'll look it up, though. Yeah. But I would love to try and get those people on, to get people from Invest Talk, because I'd love to talk more economics and get schooled.
But here's the thing, and we see, especially like going back to Hillary Clinton in 2016, the appeal to authority that they do all the fucking time is being seen through more and more and more. Because you can appeal to Wharton School and all of them saying, oh, my economic plan was looked at by them and they say it's amazing, it's fantastic. Who the cares anymore? No one cares anymore. Particularly now, after COVID, a lot of experts, whether or not they're actually good in their
Real
field.
quick, hey, thank you so much, Armin Afra. Fucking awesome. Watching from Tehran, Iran. How's it going, man? Really appreciate that you're watching here. Hopefully we don't piss you off.
Yeah. Hopefully you enjoy.
Hopefully you like us. Listen, if you're on Facebook, go follow us. Thanks, man. Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
But yeah, they just experts like I said with institutions earlier in the show, they've lost trust of the fact that they have put in some type of work and they've actually learned in their field and they know their field, because a lot of experts seem to have been wrong on what they were trying to predict or what they were trying to say, whether or not they didn't know what they were saying or whether or not they were biased and they made this type of prediction or they made some kind of advice based on how they want to pull people. Like I believe Deborah Birx just came out and said they pitched to 2 weeks to slow the spread in order to be able to get the month-to-month lockdowns,
which is wild.
It's insane. But Deborah Birx, I'm certain Deborah Birx probably went through everything she needed to do. She's probably very intelligent in her medical field, but she did things to manipulate people using her expertise so people trust experts less. And obviously that's just one person, but it's happened time and time and time again.
Yeah, I mean, and Deborah Birx was someone that had a ton of power for a short amount of time. And she was kind of pushed aside for Anthony Fauci after a little bit. But she's absolutely someone that had a ton of power. Now, Armin, if you want to go back and listen to the beginning of the stream, what we talked about with Iran was the intelligence community saying that there's a credible threat from Iran on Donald Trump. And we just kind of talked about how it's believable that Iran would fucking hate Trump right now because he's the one that pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal that Obama was giving a ton of money to Iran and things like that. And now the Bidens obviously freed up a ton of money for Iran. And we covered what Trump said in North Carolina about how he would blow them to smithereens if they were attacking a presidential candidate. But we also kind of touched on how, our theories that might all be bullshit as well. So I want to give you a little search unless you didn't want to go all the way back. But again, we appreciate you watching from Iran. That's dope as hell.
You know what I'm kind of sad about?
What?
I don't know if you saw the rumor that was passing around on the internet about Diddy, where apparently they found a cave underneath Diddy's mansion that led to a grotto. Has found out to be false. I'm a little sad that it's found out. I was
hoping that the Jews were trying to dig to that grotto with Diddy. The Jews that they found digging were just trying to connect with Diddy.
The grotto.
Damn it!
No, but like supervillain Diddy is hilarious in my mind. Obviously,
he's the diddler.
The diddler. Like obviously, Diddy not a good person. No, you can just watch the video
that he had an island himself called Love Island.
Yeah, he did. He did. That's actually true. I'm pretty sure that's actually true. But I mean, you could just watch the video where who is her name starts with a C. What is his ex-wife or his ex-girlfriend or something like that? Where he's in the hotel.
Cassie?
Yeah, Cassie, where he runs her down, just starts beating her ass on camera. Like that was wild to watch.
Oh, let me look at this because I heard that Diddy had a list of people that he named in the court file that was named in the court filing. I want to pull this up.
It wasn't a grotto, it was to a synagogue.
He's converted, baby. He's converted.
I was talking about Diddy over this, but good that you like Trump. I like that you like Trump. That's awesome.
Fuck yeah, we appreciate that.
We're all hoping he's elected, man. I'm going to tell you that.
We are, and honestly, I'll say this, Armin. And if he is elected, he probably will take a little bit harder line in terms of financials coming to Iran. But he's going to want to stabilize that fucking region. I feel like everyone in the Middle East wants stability. After the Western powers went in and after the World Wars and fucked everything up by just chopping it up however they wanted and not listening.
It was insanity.
And not listening to the Ottomans saying, hey, cut it up by religion. Don't be fucking stupid. And they were stupid. I get it. And I hope that he does bring stability. But here we are. We have a list here, and I'm going to see if there's any notable names here. So, Stevie J, music producer, blah, blah, blah. Redacted name of Philadelphia rapper who dated Nicki Minaj. Whatever. Grammy Award-winning R&B singer, Young Miami. I don't know who that is. Prince Harry. According to court documents.
That's not a surprise. Any big celebrity thing that involves weird sexual shit, Prince Harry's is going to be there at some point.
So there's Cassie Ventura, obviously. Yes. Cassie.
Yes.
I don't know who Bishop T.D. Jakes is. Do you know who that is? Not accused of anything in the lawsuit, according to court documents. Georgia Mass Choir was named in the filing in relation to his professional engagements with Jones and is not accused of wrongdoing. Okay.
Well, and that real quick, because you just went over Cassie and I just brought up the video, but that's the thing that makes everyone question everything, like the Eric Adams indictment and shit like that.
Yeah,
because that video of him beating the ever-loving fuck out of Cassie in that hotel was from years ago. This has been known for a while. So the fact that it wasn't released, the fact that we didn't know any of this stuff about Diddy in the first place when it was occurring, or at least soon after it occurred, makes people question everything that happens to anyone with any sort of power.
So this one's interesting because Fahim Muhammad's a name that I've heard of before. And he was named in the court documents. He's the head of security, and he had the power to make people and problems disappear. So he was like his fixer. So these were the people named. Anybody... named celebrities have not been charged. Okay. Now, there's going to be more that obviously comes out, right? And this makes me question all New York rappers not named 50. Because 50 has
50 was
openly fucking hated Diddy and ever since Diddy tried to take him out for a wardrobe, he's like, fuck you, I'm not poor. Yep. I don't need your bitch ass. And he's, and the thing is that's funny, you've never really heard of anybody in 50, M&M's, D12, any of those groups running and doing collabs with anyone from Bad Boy or even like Murder Inc. or shit like that. Mm-hmm. And there's always been that beef. And it really makes me wonder if they knew what was going on. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Or if they had an inkling and they just didn't want to fuck with that.
That's the thing, is that this is just such a massive web of shit that went down and it's probably going down.
Yeah.
And the fact that Diddy is now falling like this, I do hope he starts naming people. That would be hilarious. Yeah. That would be incredible. But and Nate just made a joke about that. Used to joke that rap is the gayest form of music. Didn't mean it literally. But I mean, it calls into question a lot of rappers. It really does. It makes everyone look like Gangstalicious. Like you're either Gangstalicious or you're either Thug Nicholson.
So that's reference. I love
exactly. It. but that's the thing. You're either one of them at this point. So
with all this going on, Dave, all I know is we need to burn down all of Hollywood and leave everyone that's fucking there. While it burns out.
Well, the thing
because
is,
between the Harvey Weinstein shit, Epstein Island,
before Weinstein,
and that's the thing. Here's the thing:
Roman Polanski fucking touched a boy, fled to France, and many people in Hollywood signed a petition to have him come back.
And the thing is, we've known about this, but it's always been we know they're fucked up. But we don't have the proof. We had Roman Polanski, right? That was the most, and that was kind of like screwed up, right? But we never had concrete proof like what we've had with Harvey Weinstein, what we've had with Epstein, which we still need the Epstein client list. You motherfuckers are trying to protect yourselves, and it's awful. And we're never going to actually see the list of, they're going to hide the list of people that were at the parties outside the ones that have named themselves already. Mm-hmm. Outside of like, we knew Bieber was there because obviously we've known Jay-Z's there. We've known, Busta has always been a big player there, but they're never going to actually tell us who went to the island. Now you can make assumptions, and these are the things that are going to be fucked up. They're going to kill P. Diddy. They're 100% going to kill this man. Well, and we're never going to know. And this is the thing. It needs to be all burnt.
And the thing is, the whole thing, about a casting couch, about having to do what you got to do to make it an industry, it makes it seem like not only was that true for the most part for basically everyone in the industry, not only was it true, but it's probably a toned down version of what actually happens in that industry.
So you're saying backroom casting couch of porn is probably a toned down version of what Diddy was doing to people?
What a lot of shit that happens in the industry. The bigger playing things of the industry.
Yeah, and it's crazy too because it also makes like all these things where you've seen some comedians coming out and saying like, hey, certain comedians got down and sucked dick and I didn't. And then it was like laugh it off, like, no, that was a joke. No, you weren't joking. Like, and it's wild that that's kind of the gateway. And I think it's also cool that what we have here. That
I did see this. Yes,
we're in the same. Wait, what? They're in the same unit?
I saw this. I don't know if it's exactly true, but I did see this, and I love it.
Oh my god! But it's just with what we have with podcasting now, they can't gatekeep this. Now, obviously, there is certain ways that maybe they could try, but this is something that's hard to gatekeep because, Nate comes to us all the time. We love you, Nate. Yeah. You're awesome. The thing is, they can't stop people like that from coming and consistently watching. And
that's really the big overarching theme of why so many journalists and so many people that are in industries that had much more ability to have just a direct connection to fans in some type of way. This is why they're throwing a bitch fit all the time about YouTubers and podcast people. Yep. This is why they're so mad about this shit, because they've lost the influence that they just had in general to normal people who didn't have to go the route that they had to go. Because obviously you mentioned us, and Nate comes every week, and Nate, you're awesome, but we don't have much of an audience. But we at least have someone that listens to us in some way. But you take that and you multiply that by like millions for a bunch of people. Obviously, we watch Nerdrotic, we watch Geeks and Gamers, we watch all these Critical Drinker, all these people that are reaching so many people in just a cultural area, and they can't be stopped. And they're just just chatting with fans at this point. Exactly. Like people fucking argue with them all the time, especially their own fans, but they're not trying to hold some influence over people like a lot of media journalists do.
And that's also the major difference. Right? When the media journalists go and do their things on TV, there are no fans pushing back against them. There is no live questions. And here's the thing, Dave. I don't think we're that far away from watching news. It'll probably be CNN and Fox News first, where they're going to have live questions where they'll pull them up, and they'll probably be fake, right? They'll probably more than likely be fake. But at the same time, they will try to do something more like with podcasts, because they're going to have to go the podcasting route in a way.
But the thing is, if they were to go that route, they have to get completely new people for their news shows and for everything.
I think the radio people that already do podcasts would be fine.
The radio people,
some of them like that would be okay.
But the talking heads that don't have to do that, they're out of their depth with that.
Well, look at Don Lemon.
They have no idea how to do it.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Exactly. They have no idea how they're doing that. They know how to speak off a teleprompter, which is not easy. No, it's not difficult. Easy. Like, it's actually a skill you have to learn and be good at. To read
and speak is not hard.
Exactly.
It's not easy. It's not easy. It's hard to do.
But they don't know how to just go off the top, do whatever they're going to do, is make a salient point.
Look at the difference between Trump and Kamala, right? Yeah. Trump can just go sit down and have a conversation with anybody. And it's also one of the reasons, I think, too, why they say he lies all the time. He's not looking at notebooks. He's not getting ready. So he's saying things off the cuff. Yeah. And, when we all talk off the cuff, I can guarantee there's probably things that we said. If I didn't have those articles in front of me, I would have probably told at least 15 or 20 quote unquote lies. It would have been exaggerations. It would have been, but it's not. But what the thing that he's good at is he stays on message without sounding like a recorded thing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He's very good at connecting. And like when he went to the supermarket and he paid for people, he was talking to that guy the other day. Yep. I think it was in Pennsylvania, where it was a small little supermarket, and he's asking, and he's like, oh, we've been doing this for years, but with the cost coming up and things like that. And he's like, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fight for you. Like, Kamala can't do that. Joe Biden used to be able to do that. I will give Biden credit. Mm-hmm. Obama used to be able to do that. And that's why they were able to connect with people more. Like, Biden sucked, but people remembered old Biden, where he would walk around Delaware. He would walk around Scranton. He would walk places, and you could shake his hand, and he would ask and be like, yeah, I used to. He would lie to you, but he would be a believable lie, and he would seem like a human. Kamala Harris doesn't seem like a human. She seems like Mark Zuckerberg, but in Indian clothes, like Indian skin Zuck
and female. And the thing is that Trump, one of the reasons why he doesn't get a ton right every time he talks, is that, or he's not at least very, what am I going to say? very nailed down on the details of things.
He's not a details guy.
It's because he doesn't qualify his statements. He doesn't use a lot of CYA in when he's speaking. He just says what he wants to say, which is a completely different form of what a lot of conversations are, especially in media now, because everyone feels like, I'm just going to get attacked if I say something wrong, so I need to make sure I qualify what I'm saying. I need to make sure I cover my ass on what I'm saying here, just so people aren't like, well, you got that right off of, because in here it says this. He doesn't really care about that. He cares more about just getting the message across.
Yeah, exactly. And he's a big message type of guy. And I think that's when he's at his best, right? Obviously, he has his off-the-cuff things where he throws like jokes out of people. But when he is just staying on message in terms of just his big picture stuff, it's when he's at his best. He has some numbers that he rolls out. He has some stats that he rolls out that he's memorized. But it's when he's just sitting there and talking about the big picture is, and so I want to talk about this real quick, Dave. This motherfucker, Mark Zuckerberg, he now says he's a libertarian. He's entered his libertarian era. Who believes this? Who believes that Zuckerberg all of a sudden started working out and he started surfing? And that was a really cool thing. You know when I'll believe it? When Zuckerberg goes on fucking Tucker Carlson or goes on Timcast or goes on one of those and he sits there, and not even Carlson, because Carlson's a more centered news interview. Go on Timcast, go on Patrick Bet-David, go on one of those where they're not going to hold back. Go on Glenn Beck. Go on Glenn. Go do a thing on Glenn where they're going to ask you and be like, why did you change? When did this happen? Give me the exact point. And they're not going to nail him down. They're professionals. They're not going to sit there and be dickheads. But they are going to ask him pointed questions that he won't get from other places. If he starts going on, if he goes on with some of these conservative areas and can hold his own and has the same story over and over, and it doesn't sound robotic, which is hard because he's a fucking robot.
He is a robot.
Then I still won't believe him.
We have better technology. We have better technology day by day, though, so he is getting more human-like. It's for after you're done with Zuckerberg. I want to show you something that you may not have seen.
Fuck Zuckerberg. Go ahead.
Okay.
What is this?
I don't know if you know this, but this happened in Rings of Power.
Why?
Ron kissing Galadriel.
Kill him with fire. Why do you hate me?
They had Elrond kiss Galadriel.
End stream.
It's incredible.
I mean, if you're going to destroy everything about Middle Earth, you might as well keep going. Honestly, do worse. I want them now to make sure that they just fucking burn it all down. You know what? Kill Galadriel at this point. Just kill her. Make her sure that she doesn't exist in the Third Age somehow. Oh my god.
Shipping has really done irreparable damage to a lot of fiction. It's irreparable damage, dude. It's fucking bad.
I don't know. I'm just... There's nothing to say at this point.
It's... I just find it funny that Amazon put all of this money into.
We are shifting gears. We're shifting gears.
What do you mean?
Because I'm fucking done with this. I'm not listening to that. No. Fuck Rings of Power. We're going in to. Thank God they didn't get Baron and lithium rights. Thank God they didn't get fucking any other rights. They didn't
even need the fucking rights to the Second Age if they're gonna write it like this. They didn't need any of that.
And fuck the Tolkien estate for giving away anything. They can all get fucked because once Christopher died, the rest of them don't care about it. They're a bunch of dickheads too. Anyway, we're shifting gears to something fun. Dave, have you seen the Dragon Ball Daima? Whatchamacallit? English trailer yet?
No, but are we gonna get hit for it if we play it?
I don't fucking care.
Well,
I want you to see it.
Okay.
So it is IGN. They're probably gonna get hit for it because they're a bunch of pieces of shit. But
it's not about IGN. It's more about
YouTube.
Not YouTube. Whoever is Toei.
I'll play without the sound though.
It's not.
I'll let you look at it.
Either way, go ahead.
So we'll watch it just without the sound. So
Yeah, totally.
So we could just talk about how beautiful it is. So it's 40th anniversary. You're just coming in. They have some subs there, which I'm happy with. And that's only because it's, let's say we get actual subtitles now.
You put it 1.5. Put it 1.5.
Okay, boom.
I'm not going to miss anything 1.5.
1.25.
Yeah.
There we go. So looking at the art, Dave, this reminds me of a cleaned up version of the original Dragon Ball in a lot of ways. With the way it's like very chibi, but it still has that crispness of some of the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Which is amazing considering this is a series. Like, and it's very Toriyama with all the characters. He has like 6 character designs and he sticks to all of them.
I mean, that's what he is. He has a style. That's what he does.
And that's why we love Toriyama.
Yeah.
But I just think everything about it just looks, it's such a beautiful throwback. And with the way Super has been, where it's been more of this journey and less of the sci-fi, which it has a sci-fi in it, don't get me wrong, but it's taken more of that lighthearted journey aspect to it in a lot of ways. This is a very nice successor. Now, I said to you yesterday, do you think Super's over in the way that we know it? And they are going to skip and maybe cover what the Super manga's been doing, just in a different way, because now it's Sasuke, it's Toyotaro taking over. It's not Akira Toriyama anymore. It's Sasuke Toriyama. So I don't know what they're going to do next.
I can see that happening. Like cover Moro, cover what's his face?
Granola.
Yeah,
which are amazing.
Yeah, cover those and then move on from Super. I can see that happening, or at least change the name, and then figure out what you're going to do after that. The thing is, that's awesome, Nate. But the thing is that it's difficult.
Yes.
Where they're going with power now, because obviously Zeno is the strongest. He could just do whatever the hell he wants. Like he's got. But where do you go? What do you do with a lot of these power levels and a lot of what you're doing, and still make it interesting? So Daima is obviously a way to make things interesting. Make them all young again.
It's pre-Super.
Well, nice. Yes, exactly. But that's what I'm saying is like at one point it starts to get too big. And it's just all over the place. So I don't know what they're going to do, but I can see Super being over soon, at least the arc of Super, and then going on to something else. As in, this is Toriyama's last stuff. We don't want to just continue it as if it's still Toriyama's stuff, unless he already has it storyboarded out in a way. But instead move on to the next phase of Dragon Ball.
And I think that would be appropriate. Now, there's, I think you want to continue with what he did, because obviously Black Frieza is there. He's in the manga. It is a canon thing via the manga. And there's been so many questions, because now you're starting to see the structure of the angels, right? With Mirrors and things like that. And Mirrors, now angels can give up their angel status. We found that out, right? So that kind of sets up, is Whis going to do something like that? We've always had a concept, maybe the father's evil in a way, because he has given off those vibes.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
So much where Vegeta's obviously training to be a god of destruction. You see it. Goku is taking the angel path. You're watching these happen. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go. And Nate, I love it. My daughters have the same spread. They're 6 and 4. They are actively watching Dragon Ball right now. They just finished. Goku just finished climbing and he beat Tao Pai Pai. That's where when he beat Tao Pai Pai. Now,
they're getting there.
Just be warned about some of the scenes. If you have a wife, don't let your wife near with some of the scenes with Roshi being a creep, because as you watch it as an adult, it is definitely. If
it's DBZ, then there's not as much of it.
In Dragon Ball, which is funny because Dragon Ball is meant for kids. Yeah, I wanted them to start with Dragon Ball and just the journey. And when I tell you, especially my older one is very invested. She loves Goku. My younger one loves Bulma. She loves watching the end. Awesome. She loves the ending. Maddie doesn't let us skip the ending because she loves Bulma and she loves just watching all of that. So it's awesome that your kids want to. My two love it. Crunchyroll's amazing. But just watch out for the Roshi scenes. And now they just laugh. They're like, Roshi's a dirty old man. And it's hilarious because that's all they know. Roshi's a dirty old fucking man.
Dirty turtle hermit motherfucker.
But it's just interesting. Oh, they just got to the Majin Saga.
Ooh.
So that's fun. I wonder how they react to the Majin Saga being 5 and 3, because I know a lot of fans weren't big fans of the Majin Saga.
I think they'll like it, especially with the way Boo is. They'll probably like it.
Boo is fun, and the kids' Gotenks might be great for them in the way Goten and Gohan are.
I mean, Boo turns people into chocolate.
who does turn people off.
So it's
and he's
like,
fat.
yeah.
My favorite is when he's trying to like get like the girl, and he looks at the guy and rearranges his face, and he's like fat boo with like the face, and she still screams, and he's just like bitch, and then he murders her. So, all right. So that was our palate cleanser. We're gonna go back into being mad.
Real quick,
Go ahead.
Sparking Zero looks
beautiful.
absolutely fantastic. I'm so excited for Sparking Zero.
Did you see one of the revealed what ifs?
No.
It's what if Goku survived the fight against Raditz, and it has him,
I did see that. I didn't
and it
see
has
much
him
about it.
basically distract. I didn't see much. I just saw the scene where it has him like distracting Raditz, and then Piccolo surprisingly fires off the Mekenkasopo and goes through him, and Goku dodges by the skin of his teeth, and now he's alive. And here's the thing: if the next scene isn't Goku and Piccolo going at it to the death, then it's not right.
Well, but and the thing
Because they would have finished it.
And the thing is, though, because they'll go into it, which I can't wait to see it. But how does he get strong enough to beat Nappa and Vegeta at that point?
Here's the question: Vegeta beating Goku.
Did Goku let him win?
Goku let him win because Goku didn't go Super Saiyan 3. But
Yeah.
we'll let that go. But here's the thing, though, Dave.
But
Do Vegeta and
that
Nappa
fight
ever
is-
come? Why would they come? Raditz dies. If they don't talk about the Dragon Balls, that was the only reason Vegeta and Nappa came. Vegeta and Nappa didn't give a shit that Raditz died.
That is true.
The only
That is
reason
true.
they came is because Vegeta wanted immortality, and he was
Yes.
trying to figure out a way. If they don't know about the Dragon Balls,
That
maybe
is
they make
true.
their way eventually there because Raditz is dead. Let's get our mission done with first. That planet seemed difficult. That's why Raditz was coming to get Goku.
Maybe, but it was mainly just because they don't care about it. Like you said, they don't care about Raditz. Like they don't.
They don't. Maybe they come in a little bit to come collect Goku and be like, you're going to work for us now, and they're all at that point more powerful.
It
and
is
can be
really interesting because Goku just doesn't get as powerful as he should be if he doesn't die.
See the what if? Yeah, because he never goes Kenkai. So my fun what if would be, what if Yamcha doesn't get done in by the Cybermen? Does he finish off the rest of them? And then, because you got to remember, losing Yamcha in that fight with Nappa is huge. Considering that Yamcha was probably stronger than Tien, it looked like at that point, because he was probably the strongest Earthling. Because he handled. Tien struggled a little against that first Cyberman. Yamcha fucked him up. And would have probably taken on the other ones. And then you add Yamcha, Tien, Krillin, and Piccolo, 4 seasoned fighters. Gohan does what Gohan does. And Chaozu blowing himself up still because Chaozu would have been useless. But
he just does that, you know.
And here's the thing that annoys me about Chaozu. He still has the Dadan Ray. Why does he never use it? It's his best attack. Fucking use it. It's a great attack. Neither him or Tien. And maybe, actually, I think they stopped using it because it was a crane technique. But still.
Maybe, yeah, but.
Use it.
Funny.
You're weak as shit outside of that. But I think that could have been interesting because it would have definitely changed the fight if he stays alive.
Slightly.
Because
I still think Nappa wipes him, to be quite honest with you.
I don't know, because if they do, here's the thing: play it all again. Yamcha's hurt, Piccolo's hurt, Krillin's hurt. Chaozu blows himself up. Tien goes to fight him, and instead of Gohan being a part of that plan, it's Yamcha finishing him off. And with maybe it doesn't finish him off, but you hurt Nappa because Krillin and Piccolo hurt him, and if Yamcha hits him with the Kamehameha, that fucking hurts Nappa. It doesn't kill him, but it definitely weakens him a lot because that's really 4 really seasoned, strong fighters at that point.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think it's difficult, man. You know,
this is a fun one.
Nappa did major in child psychology.
It's a Pokemon
with a minor in pain.
Look, it's 4 Raditz. Oh man, I honestly, those guys would never come on this show.
No,
but I really wish they would, because I would be like, listen, let's never talk politics. Let's talk about why you guys did that. 'Cause that's fucking awesome. All right, so let's go on. We're gonna go back to being angry again. Congress signed a continuing resolution, Dave, because they are a bunch of fucking spineless pricks. Now, the CR, they should oust Speaker Johnson. I don't care if there's an election going on. They should kick him out. Because this is from Nick Sorter on X right here. And Nick Sorter is, I like his reporting. House just passed continuing resolution to move forward with the Pelosi era spending from at least December, until at least December. Speaker Johnson caved again. No, he didn't cave. This is what he wants. He's uniparty. The SAVE Act wasn't in there, and once again, we don't have a single budget. There was not a single spending bill in there. We haven't had a budget since Obama.
Yeah, but this is not surprising. Like this is just what they do, and they act like the government having to shut down in any way is the worst thing in the world. When in all actuality, a lot of people would probably enjoy that. A lot of people would be perfectly fine with the government shutting down.
Dave, you can't go to a national park. What are you going to do?
What do you mean you can't go? You can 100% go to a national park. There's no government working to stop you. They can't shut down.
And how this one just shows you also like how good the leftists are at messaging and how nefarious Uniparty is. They convince people that they're not going to get their Social Security, that they're not going to get their Medicare, that the VA is going to shut down. None of these things are affected by a government shutdown. The only thing that is affected are the tertiary, useless fucking parts of the government. To be quite honest, if Trump gets in there, he needs to look at what would be affected by a government shutdown and then just eliminate all of them.
Yes.
Because a government shutdown affects usually the people that don't fucking matter in the government. That's what it is. It's all the discretionary spending. It's not the non-discretionary. Mm-hmm. All the non-discretionary stuff is always built in to never stop. And that's what people need to understand. Now, this is just an aside one. Dave, like you said, we're not surprised. Is there anything else? Because I'm ready to move on already because I fucking hate this guy.
I'm good.
But Matt Gaetz, MTG, Boebert, one of you do what you got to do. Oust this guy. I will back you. I don't give a fuck what the weak, spineless motherfuckers say about, oh, well, you failed against McCarthy. Yeah, we got Johnson. We need to get him out of there. Because he's the same thing. Mm-hmm. He's another uniparty shell that doesn't care. He talks tough when he needs to. He's fucking Lindsey Graham, but not gay. Okay, that's all he is. So, this guy, yeah, I'm sorry. I besmirch Lindsey Graham all the time. I'm convinced the guy's gay. Nothing against gay people. He's just gayer than a bag of dicks. It is what it is.
You don't know that.
I mean, maybe it's just his gay Southern accent. I don't know, man. So we're going to continue. We're going to jump back into some dirty stuff. Freeman is fantastic, Dave.
Yes.
Did you watch the anime at all? Because I haven't watched the anime. I've only read the manga.
I was in double digits. I can't remember exactly where I was in the anime. I really should finish it. It's good.
It is good. I honestly want to watch it for the intros too, because I can imagine the intro for that show would be pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's just now, if anyone that's watching, if you're a manga fan and manga and anime fan, and you don't know what Freeman is, it's a really cool story. I think we've touched on it before. I'll touch on it again. Basically, you're following an elf named Freeman. She's a mage, extremely powerful. And you're following her story after her and her three adventurers, the hero party, defeated the Demon King. So they saved the world. And now you're 80 years after them saving the world. At this point, the main hero has passed on. The other human, he's a human. The other human who's a priest, very old. And I'm only going into the beginning, Dave. I'm not getting into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
Very old, not able to do his thing. It's just a priest passing his time. And then the last one is a dwarf who is older. Can't fight anymore. He's not dead, probably not dying anytime soon, but he's older. He can't do what he does. And she, since being with this party, they consider dwarves a part of like mankind because they age, they die. So they're all mankind. They all have emotions. They all experience things. Now, elves really don't have emotions because they live forever unless they're killed, essentially. And they are basically the exact foil of what demons are in the story, where demons are incredibly similar to elves, but except elves are generally good. They work on the side of good. They're not as nefarious.
Elves just do what they want. They don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they're not evil. They don't do evil things.
Demons are objectively evil.
Demons are objectively evil, and everything that they do is for evil's sake. They lie, they cheat, they steal. They are Eddie Guerrero. but
Eddie Guerrero is cool.
Eddie Guerrero is cool. Hey, listen, some of the demons are fucking cool in this story, okay? There are some cool-ass demons. But so they're basically the foil of everything demons are. And it's interesting, and they take so many different routes with this. And the way that they're setting up the Demon King, and the fact that, you know, a spoiler, the Demon King wanted to try to get to know humans more. And so in that, he started a genocide. Mm-hmm. And it's so cool. And I recommend everyone getting in there and reading it. But it's just the way the story is, Dave, it's so different from what, if you're used to action shonen,
Yes.
it's very different, and you're getting flashbacks and seeing so much about it. And it really touches on the way the game of telephone works in the world as well, and how stories grow.
And it's really interesting because it's a lot of themes and a lot of things blended into a story. That's why I love it so much. I think it's probably some of the best writing I've seen in manga and anime.
Yeah.
Just genuinely.
Yeah.
Because like obviously there's a part of it where it's just like life after like doing what your purpose is in a way, like life after that. But because like she's an elf and she doesn't know how to connect to people. No. But she wants to know how to connect to people.
She's very much a child in that sense.
Yeah.
And she's learning from the humans that are coming around with her.
So it's both about building relationships and also looking back on relationships that you did have and understanding how to honor them and how to keep their memory alive while also moving on and building more relationships with other people. It's incredible writing. It's such a good story being told. The action is fantastic. We're talking a lot about the writing. The action is fantastic. Frieren is an absolute fucking badass.
And if you want to take the action, the best way I describe it, especially with the magic and the way it's shown, it is Demon Slayer level with how beautiful the magic is and the things like that. And the one thing I will say that I love is all the fighters are deadpan while they're fighting.
Yeah.
It is even when they're getting pain, they don't show it. It is a different style that they use because all of your warriors, all of your people that battle are the stoic type. They don't show emotion. And I think that's a cool little touch on things. I just want to touch on Frieren because I've been enjoying it.
Cool. I didn't know you wanted to. I was like, okay, that's right.
I've been enjoying it.
Talk about Frieren anytime. I could do it.
Yeah, it's really good. And as we do this, I will update if I'm reading more manga and things like that and what I'm reading and what I'm watching because it's it's a big part of my life, and I'm a nerd, and I like this. I don't want to talk about, if it comes up, we could talk about Agatha all along and how they're fucking lying about their numbers with the 9.3 million in 7 days, what they consider which is bullshit.
I've seen parts of that show. It's so bad. It's so bad.
And the thing is, too, it doesn't have to be this bad, because the premise actually works if they use it right. That Agatha was figured out to be the main villain of WandaVision.
She's not.
Through it all, because of that, Wanda's actually the main villain. But
Wanda's the main villain of WandaVision.
But because of that, Wanda takes away her powers, and now she is just a person in the town trying to figure things out. Okay. Could be a cool premise considering she's a magical being that doesn't have her magic and now is trying to figure out a way to get it back through her coven sisters, okay? Like, there is something there that could be interesting. They don't have to all be lesbians that sing. Why? And then you're wasting Aubrey Plaza. And Aubrey Plaza is just exposing herself to be a dumb bitch like everybody else. Like you used to be the Daria-esque hot girl.
To be fair to Aubrey Plaza, she is like answering those interview questions in the same way that she answers a lot of interview questions, where it seems like that she's just kind of either just going along or kind of trolling the interviewer. To be fair to her, I don't know if those are actual opinions or not because she does that all the fucking time. But it's still not great.
It's not great. And she was like, the way, like, she is like Daria hot. Like, she's like, has a Daria expression, but just a hot version of it without red hair. She, honestly, if they made a live action Daria, Aubrey Plaza absolutely has.
Not anymore. When she was younger.
Yeah, maybe even now. All 40-year-olds play 20-year-olds in Hollywood, Dave. Don't you know that? They get
not anymore. They always go for kids now.
Both. I mean, they've been going for kids in Hollywood all the time. Anyone know who Amanda Bynes is? All the producers do. Oh, she looks awful. But yeah. So I just want to talk a little bit. Listen, if you want to get a lot of negative stuff, we'll touch on it every once in a while. If it's big and prevalent. But you want to hear about real negative news? Go to GNG. Go to. Friday Night Tights, Tuesday main event, side scrollers. They'll handle it for you. Razor Fist, Yellow Flash. They will handle that enough for you guys. Mauler will destroy it with his EFAPs.
The good thing is that happened today, that came out today, is Legend of Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom came out today. I don't know if you saw it. Have you seen that at all?
I've heard about it. I haven't seen any of the trailers. Okay. I saw the picture you sent me and it was fucking adorable.
Let me pull that up. Because I watched some of it today.
We could play it with no sound.
Yeah. Christopher's playing it. So I was watching some of that.
Krista B?
Yeah. But here you go. Yeah, let's do the launch trailer.
And by the way, everyone, we appreciate everyone hanging out with us today. Yes. I know Nate's interacting. Anybody else, just drop us a chat if you want to hear us talk about something. It's up to you guys.
But the whole thing.
How long is this one?
52 seconds.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It looks adorable.
It's going with the chibi model that they did for Link's Awakening when they redid that.
Yep.
And that makes me ask a whole other question about the Zelda timelines, but we can go into that if you want. But
it's the closest in terms of what the Nintendo sprites used to look like. So I do
the top down.
That.
Yes.
Yeah. This is what the Nintendo sprites would look like if they moved into 3D.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah. But it looks like a ton of fun. And the whole purpose of that rod that she has is she can copy things and then use them. Then that was a whole launch trailer. I don't know if there's more.
Now, I'm curious. Are we getting Sheik?
No. I maybe. But I don't think
because
so.
It's she's a fucking ninja.
She is, but I don't think she is in this timeline. Okay. I don't know if you know how Legend of Zelda timeline works.
No,
timelines work.
No, I do and I don't. It's so convoluted.
Every single way, because Sheik is an like. There's a whole thing.
Question: what's worse, Zelda or Kingdom Hearts timeline wise? They're both bad. Kingdom Hearts is bad.
I don't know how big and convoluted Kingdom Hearts is. I know it's huge because they had all those fucking was it PSP games?
None of the Zoras are the same Zoras.
Yeah,
they're all different.
Yeah, it's Kingdom Hearts is weird as shit.
But even though it's the same Keyblade, but they're all different. It's kind of like Saw. It seems like they're all going out at the same time, and Jigsaw's going to come out and kill them all at the end.
but that's the thing, because I asked that question too, because it would be cool to play as Sheik in that game, especially playing as Zelda. But
Assassin's Creed Sheik.
Jeez, it might be better in Shadows. But the thing
they make her a black lesbian trans.
I don't even know if Nintendo cares about the timelines. I'm just saying
it's a fun game.
Yeah, but it just seems like it's more about using that rod to do things, and you can even copy enemies and shit. Like so
it's kind of like that rod is Kirby in a lot of ways, where you don't have to eat them and take their powers. You can just kind of use that rod and copy.
Yes, yeah.
Now, do you take their powers, or you create one of them?
You create them.
That's pretty cool. So she has like an undead army coming.
Yeah. So she can like have an army of shit, and it seems like
Zelda's an evil necromancer.
Not a necromancer because she doesn't kill them; she just copies them. She's a cloner. She clones things. But it looks like a very good way to make a Zelda game, get it to be very fun, very creative. It looks like there's going to be a whole bunch of puzzles. I know Flash tweeted about it. He said like the dungeons are like actual like Zelda dungeons, like how it used to be. So that's really cool. And it looks awesome. It looks like a really fun game to play. What are you looking up?
I'm looking up something real quick.
Assassin's Creed Iron Sheik. Oh my goodness, I would absolutely love it. Put Iron Sheik in any game, and the game is better than it once was.
That will be the two characters. It would be Iron Sheik as the main one, and then fucking Assassin's Creed would be a little Asian chick. That would be Zelda. Yeah, Sheik would be like that. Would be it. Can someone please make that? Legion of Memers. If anyone from the Legion of Memers is here, can you please make that in like how they did Call of Duty Black Ops? All right, so let's just jump into our next topic, and I'm happy we're on games because I want to talk about some gaming stuff here. So Flappy Bird is back. Yeah. The people bought it again. You know, their crowd for it. The teaser was fucking fantastic. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. It was awesome. But here's my problem, Dave. So many people love Flappy Birds. It is just Helicopter from Addicting Games turned to a fucking bird.
Yes.
And it has always bothered me. Now, for those that don't know, what I was looking up gameplay from Helicopter. So for people that only know Flappy Birds, this is exactly what it is. Boom. Bing videos. Yes, I'm using Bing. Don't judge me, motherfuckers.
No, you should be judged for using Bing. What the fuck's wrong with you?
It's just what came here. I know I need to use Brave. Leave me alone. But
you're weird.
I am weird. I'm a weird boy. Boom. So let's watch. I don't know if there's any sound. But all you do, you click it, and it's just for the computer. And you click it. This is Flappy Birds! And this was out. Man, I was in high school when this came out. So 2003. When did Flappy Birds come out? It was out Check that out real quick. When did Flappy Birds get released? This is Helicopter. I fucking love this game, okay? And here's the thing. There's no Mario fucking things being stolen like they did in Flappy Bird.
2013. You are... The sound of the video is just cutting you out completely.
Okay, so we're going to stop that. But the guy that quote-unquote created Flappy Birds is full of shit. You didn't create anything. You stole it from Helicopter, okay? It's just that game.
Yeah, but Flappy Bird was on an app. Helicopter wasn't.
Which is the biggest downfall, right? Helicopter should have been put on an app. Addicting Games, again, if Addicting Games was ever smart, and this is where people are stupid and they don't adapt. And I don't know how well Flash games would have translated to apps at the time, because that was all Flash games, and Flash died in, I think, 2012. But could you imagine if they would have just taken the whole entire Addicting Games app suite and put it on an app? It would have been fire. Because it had the bowling stuff, it had the mini putt. Even do you remember Candy Stand? Candystand.com.
Yeah, the mini golf was incredible.
Mini golf, and it had the friggin' bowling where you use like the creamsicle, the cream saver ball.
Yes, so I will not
which
lie.
Now
to you.
sounds like a porn cream saver.
I have been half listening, mainly because I wanted to find this video. Because Iron Sheik was brought up, and because this is hilarious.
Dude, all the fucking the 6 Feet Under podcast, I see these clips all the time and they're amazing.
Their trust and all that. But so I think I had one beer and a bunch of glasses of water. Anyway, I ended up back in my hotel room, and around 1:30 in the morning, she comes in, I don't know, maybe another 30, 45 minutes after I did. I'm kind of just right there on the edge of some good sleep, and he goes, excellent, Marky Baba. You get in the good rest, yeah, Sheik, I'm getting some sleep. That's excellent, brother. So, he lays down, falls asleep. I don't know, it's like a couple hours later, I wake up freezing. It's wintertime. Yeah. And Charleston, West Virginia gets a little chilly.
Yeah.
And I wake up and I'm like there's just a wind coming at me, and I'm like, what? I'm sound asleep, but I'm like, what is going on here? And I wake up, and I look, and Sheik's bed's empty. And then I looked the other way, which there was a balcony, a sliding glass door, had a little balcony. It's 4:30 in the morning, and Sheiky's out there doing Hindu squats. He's got nothing but like his wrestling tights on. It's cold, but he's out there. Steam is coming off of his head. He'd been out there for a while, evidently, right? Breathing heavy, and I'm like, Sheik. Yeah, he goes, yeah, Baba. I was like, can you close the door? It's freezing. What are you doing? Baba, it's good for lungs. Excellent cardio. Doing 1,000 Hindu squats. I'm like, oh my gosh, what have I got myself into, right? So I'm like just trying to wrap.
That's a great story.
I've seen the one passed around on a reel where Sheik did his challenge with the fucking he had like it's not the bells, the bats that they have.
Yeah.
And a young Ultimate Warrior went to try and do it and could like barely lift it up and just fucking gave up. Like Sheik was a brick shithouse.
Yes, he was, dude. Yes, he was. Sheik is such a fucking character. Honestly,
I would have loved to have seen like young Sheik and Mark Henry go at it in terms of strength. My God.
It is awful to know that so many people don't know about the Iron Sheik and just what a person he was. Because we're talking about wrestlers that should be known more. He is one of those guys that should be known much more than he is, especially.
I think that the US and WWE could potentially be in death throes, right? Their ratings are as bad as they've ever been. We'll see if this Vince McMahon documentary does anything, but wrestling fans are going to watch it, right? I don't think anybody else gives a fuck about Vince McMahon outside of wrestling. Really.
Depends on how they. I mean, the marketing.
If this was done
the marketing was good enough.
If this was done in the 90s, you would have gotten peripheral fans to watch it. Now that we're in the mid 2020s, no one cares. We'll see what happens with the move to Netflix. They have to shock value.
Yep.
If they don't shock value and do something, I mean, it might die. Oh, did you see the report that fucking Shane McMahon was meeting with Tony Khan?
Yes, I did see that. There's rumors swirling around that maybe Vince is trying to backdoor his way into AEW doing that.
That would be incredible.
I don't know if he's going to do that. I don't think he wants to do that.
Honestly,
honestly, I don't know how much Shane really likes his father, to be quite honest.
They've been on the outs.
So I think Shane is he's just like, okay, I'm basically out of WWE.
Here's the thing, Shane. If you buy AEW, here's what you need to tell Tony Khan.
He wouldn't buy AEW.
But if you're working with him, here's what you need to tell Tony Khan. You want to win? Boobs on pay-per-views. That's really all it comes down to. If you start getting that no-holds-barred pay-per-views, very much, we'll push the envelope. We have some talented women that are hot, but we'll do some fucking matches and stuff that are lowbrow. Because in the 90s, what was the fun part? It was a soap opera. It was a gimmick. They didn't give a shit. They pushed the envelope. Not as far as ECW, but pretty far. And you had hot women who were basically naked the whole fucking time.
Yeah, it gets difficult with wrestling nowadays because the environment has changed completely. Because it's hard to reach people in saying that wrestling is cool. It's not necessarily as cool as it was.
No.
In that day and age, and doing that stuff now, and doing some of that stuff that they did now wouldn't necessarily make it cool.
Thing is, who's the larger than life personality there right now?
In AEW?
In any of them. Really?
Well, WWE is really still Roman. That's still the biggest. Roman and Cody.
And he's a breadstick. And here's the thing. Cody's fun.
Yeah.
Cody's not the most charismatic guy.
No, he does well, but he's not
The Rock. He's not Stone Cold.
That's the thing. These levels, but those levels are hard to reach. Those levels are very hard.
I also think they've been crowning the wrong people. Where you had Seth Rollins in his prime, and you still have Seth Rollins, who is Shawn Michaels reincarnated.
But the thing is, it's different. It's difficult though, because Nate. They also had Hall of Famers in mid-card, true, but it's difficult because you have to think about it. Shawn Michaels was a top guy, but not for that long.
No.
He wasn't. So that's the thing. And Vince, a lot of faults for Vince, especially as like a person, but as a wrestling booker, there's a lot of faults for Vince.
There is.
Vince can find his stars, and he finds his top guys pretty fucking well. There are times where he's wrong. Ryback was terrible.
Ryback was terrible, but here's the thing. You give up on Dean Ambrose. You let Dean Ambrose go.
Yeah.
John Moxley is one of the best wrestlers in all the world.
But
you give up on him.
He was never going to be a Stone Cold guy.
He was never going to be like that. He wasn't. No. But, there's certain things that I'm looking at. Most he could have, but that's fine because you need a Mick.
But the thing
in order to push those other guys.
But the issue is that I still don't think he would have been able to reach Mick status because the reason why Mick was so fucking good at his craft was not only because he had the promos that he could do, but because if Mick was some kind of jacked motherfucker, he would not be as big as he was.
No.
The fact that Mick was a portly man doing all this shit, putting his body on the line in order to win these matches, it made much more sense for a guy that looked like us or someone bigger than us, honestly. Someone more out of shape than some of us that watched it. The fact that he looked like that and then put his body through hell in order to win matches is what made him so big.
So I'll say this, Nate. Triple H is 10 times the booker Vince was. Yes. But here's the thing. I am still yet to see the greatest stories. Bloodline was a good story, and it's still a good one. But the difference is, in the 90s, you had 4, 5, or 6 different stories going at one time that you were invested in.
I will say this.
Now they need to get back to that. Every title needs to count again.
He's getting there. Jey Uso just won the Intercontinental on a Raw.
And that was huge. And that's the thing. We need titles changing on Raws. We need pay-per-view level matches on Raw and SmackDown again.
He is getting there, and I will say this 100% with Triple H. The fact that he's letting production try things out, try all these different things out to make it much more of an event, or because they're doing a whole bunch of like just a full shot where they don't cut it all. Like maybe they do it a bunch of times. So they like follow Jey Uso from like a point in the arena where he goes in through the fucking crowd and shit. Like, and it looks
which they
good.
used to do.
But it looks really nice. And a lot of the stuff that they're doing is whether or not it works or not, but they're trying a whole bunch of things out.
But here's the thing: you need gimmicks as well. There aren't gimmicks. There's a lot of wrestlers and not many gimmicks. And the thing is,
difficult.
Wrestling likes, again, it's difficult, but you try and you try and you try. And Nate, part of this is true. Vince had the most stacked roster after WWE, but why did WCW collapse? It collapsed because the people in WWE wanted to win, and they made it a competition. And even without
and
the
WCW fucked themselves as well.
WCW, well, here's the thing. Eric Bischoff gave all the power to the Clique, and the Clique fucked them. Yeah. And that's just how it works. Hulk and the Clique fucked them. Where the difference was, in WWE, you had guys like Stone Cold, The Rock, Undertaker, Kane, Farouk and Bradshaw. They wanted to win this battle.
And if we want to compare actually a modern day story to like a WCW story, WCW had NWO, absolutely huge, one of the biggest things that ever happened.
Everyone became the NWO.
But that's the thing. Everyone became the NWO. Now the most recent story is still going on, the Bloodline story. Not everyone is Bloodline. It's just those in the Anoa'i and whoever, I can't remember the other family. But it's just them that are doing. The only one that came in was Sammy, but that's because Sammy has the chops to be able to make it fun.
Right now, I think is the perfect time when they move to Netflix. Triple H needs to unretire. We need another authority line.
He can't.
WWE.
He can't wrestle anymore. I think he's too injured. But he could like do promo.
He could probably do a promo shit. And
I don't think he can take a bump though.
The WWE is always better when there's an authority. Then bring Sean up from being a part with like in the Northeast.
Sean's doing his NXT.
I get it, but you got to do something because with an authority line, always kind of once the bloodline stuff gets settled, now the authority comes in and tries to get them back in line, and now you make the bloodlines the baby face and the authority the heel.
And that's the thing. You could do that with your managers. You could do that with Adam Pearce and what's his face? Not Nigel. It might be. I can't remember right now. But I can't remember off the top of my head. But you could do that with them because they are wrestlers that are just managers.
And you certainly
could actually do that.
For me, once Gunther now, you bring him. He's your main authority guy.
Had a heart issue.
He had a heart issue. Okay. Yeah. But he's your main authority guy. Gunther is that wall, and he's now on the side of evil. And you kind of get these good wrestlers and maybe some young kids that you want to push. Like, you bring fucking Austin Theory and what's his face. They are perfect authority guys. Absolutely. Yeah. Bring them right in. They're over, and then kind of maybe take they're falling apart. Damian Priest and all them. Bring them in.
Well, Damian and Rhea are now baby faces.
Yeah, so, but Damian Rhea, but you can always bring in Finn Balor and
Dom. You can bring Dom. Dom's the biggest heel right now.
Tell me that group as the authority going against some baby faces would not fucking push storylines.
No, it would. It would. No, I don't disagree.
The top guys in the
having an authority figure is really fucking good for storylines.
Because
really
that's what made the 90s great. Vince was always the bad guy, and he was always against whoever the babyface was, and he made babyface turns happen. Because even with the authority kept on making and even the Nexus was incredible. Look at all of the champions that came from Nexus, and from Wade Barrett to fucking whatchamacallit,
I can't remember.
Randy Orton.
Yeah.
And Batista, I think, was on Nexus for
Was
he a part? No, he was Evolution.
No. Yeah.
He was Evolution.
Yeah, you're thinking Evolution.
But all of that. But those are all
Nexus was
authority
still
groups.
good in general when it started.
Yeah.
They eventually they
became NWO. But that's the thing. They need to go back to things like that. But then also have side storylines that matter. Like, this is great going on because you have the main stuff. And what's the best storyline right now? It's Dom, it's Liv, it's Rhea. That is the best storyline in WWE right now.
Yeah, it is. It's the hottest storyline right now.
But then the Usos are going. Jay, obviously Jimmy, there's things going on with Jimmy, but Jay is going, and that's going well. And you still have Roman and the Bloodline stuff. It's still percolating. So they're doing something, but they need more of it. It needs to get better still.
Yeah, I think the move to Netflix can definitely help them storyline wise.
Boobs.
You could, yeah,
They need boobs. Guys like boobs. If you want to sit there, if you could figure out a way to convince Liv to get naked, to just go topless, have mommy rip her top off.
Very highly rated shows there.
Honestly, the highest rated. If you could sit there and have her like tear her top off and go to Dom, you want that over this and just walk away? Like, tell me that wouldn't be, especially in the internet era, millions of eyes.
Yeah, I don't know how much they're going to do it, especially with like their top women. It just depends on if they want to do it, to be quite honest.
Bring back Mandy Rose.
But
for one show and one show only.
But you could see he's trying to get storylines for everyone involved. He's trying to do all these things and have big main storylines like the Bloodline one.
Original Bloodline reuniting against whatever the authority is, and then having Seth join because he's going to look at it and go, the Shield needs to come back, and I'm going to help you.
First off, it's original Bloodline versus new Bloodline right now with Jacob Fatu and them.
Agreed.
But yeah, no, there's a lot of things going on that they could really try to make as big as they possibly can.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. The Netflix move is interesting.
We will. I feel like they need to do something else with LA Knight. I feel like LA Knight's kind of losing his way a little bit. I like LA Knight. I think they're missing an opportunity with AJ Styles. I think AJ Styles needs a lot more shine.
He hasn't been on TV in a minute.
I don't understand.
They're probably just trying to figure out a way to work him in.
Him and LA Knight. Make him do a tag team. Those two as a tag team would be fucking fantastic.
Well, LA Knight's U.S. champion, so he needs some type of good storyline with him as U.S. champion. They're doing something with Andrade. Andrade is good, but and this is the difficulty with a lot of wrestling nowadays is that there's a lot of good wrestlers, a lot of good technicians, a lot of good at that. Not that many good on the promo. No, not that many good at making people.
And I'm not gonna lie, LA Knight's fun. He's kind of corny, and I don't feel it. Oh yeah, it's fine, but that's not going to put me over.
Yeah,
it's not a great catchphrase.
When he actually has the chance to promo against someone, he is good. He's damn good actually. But that's the thing, and that's why you see people not entirely caring about a lot of these things because. You need to be able to reach people. You need to be able to get them to feel something. And just being a good technician on the mat doesn't do it. It just doesn't do it. It might be good for all the people that are nerds in wrestling. Of course, we're going to love it. Of course,
it's going to love it. I disagree with you here. They do not need to ditch Logan Paul. They need more of Logan Paul. Logan Paul's a fantastic wrestler. He's really good on the mic. Logan Paul needs to hold the championship belt if he comes back as a real worker.
If he's going to throw himself into it and actually work, Miz needs some damn respect. I will say that is true. But the thing is, Miz doesn't even help. He would want to run, but then again, how do you work Miz into things?
Miz is a 1990s, 80s type of guy where he is a star regardless of a guy without a belt. He is Seth Rollins. He doesn't need a belt to be a star, and those are rare.
That's the thing, though. Miz. Not some kind of otherworldly mat technician.
No.
But Miz makes you feel things.
And he's a bona fide Hall of Famer at this point.
Yeah, 100%. But Miz makes you feel things. Yeah. That's what's gotten him this far. His work on trying to get... And that's what is missing from a lot of the fucking discussion in wrestling nowadays, is the fact of the matter is, the wrestler that's out there needs to make you feel things.
Yeah.
If you are not invested into it, it's not going to fucking make money. It's just not going to be big. It's not going to be good. I don't care how many fucking 5 stars you give out to a match. If people aren't that invested, if normies aren't invested, who the fuck cares? It doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, listen, I agree with you. Yeah, we can go on for a long time with wrestling stuff, but I agree. We're almost reaching the 2-hour mark. I think we're going to cut out right around there. But I'm going to go on to the last thing right now. We're going to jump into some sports, Dave, because Tua Tagovailoa did not have a brain coming into this year. It was already mush. pay money to see him and MJF have a long promo against each other. I agree. Miz and MJF belongs in WWE. He'll never be there, but he belongs there. I think MJF enjoys being the WWE-esque guy in AEW.
I know he'll come to. They're all going to come to WWE eventually, probably. Honestly,
maybe. I think Tony Khan's going to get bored, but we're going to go over to some sports. We're going to talk about Tua Tagovailoa. What is this? 4th concussion in 3 years now. The guy's brain is mush. And on top of the fact that I think he's a subpar quarterback with a noodle arm that just throws the ball really long to fast guys, the guy needs to think about his career. And I know he already said he's going to go seek other decisions and things like that, and he wants to keep playing. Someone needs to sit this kid down and say, you're a millionaire. Think of your family. Have you watched the movie Concussion? Like, if we were being honest, like, I don't believe in all the bullshit with the CTE. Listen, I have said for a long fucking time, you play football from a young age, you know what you're getting into. Just because you spent your money like a fucking moron and can't afford your medical bills after being a millionaire, that's on you, nobody else. Number one. But when it comes to things like this, where you consistently get concussed, you are now a liability. The moment you get one serious concussion, you are now liable to get more. He is on to number 4, and I just want everyone to see what this concussion was this time. This was completely and totally Tua Tagovailoa's fault.
yeah, he's a dummy.
100% Tua Tagovailoa's fault. He's the only guy that can get a concussion from a dead guy.
He ran into Hamlin.
He can get a concussion from a dead guy. And yeah, let's just play this real quick. Tua Tagovailoa's a dumbass. So here he is. Runs, and this is in the 4th quarter in a game that they didn't need to do anything. Ran himself head first into DeMar Hamlin.
That wasn't a 4th. That was in like the 2nd or 3rd.
Second or whatever. But you don't need to do this.
No, he didn't.
You're Tua Tagovailoa. Get on the ground.
Yeah.
And this is, and the thing with him, it's not like he got his, the old phrase, he got his bell rung, he got up, he walked off the field.
That's a normal hit.
All of Tagovailoa's concussions have been these dramatic, he's on the ground, he spasms a little. Every single one. Maybe one of them he just kind of got up, woozy, went to the side. Kind of the normalish reaction. But 3 of them have been pretty fucking dramatic to the point where you're like, this guy needs to be carted off. Is he seriously hurt? And he is. And that's a normal hit. What's going to happen? And even one of his other concussions, he just got sacked. Yeah, he hit his head on the ground. Yeah. But he got sacked. And he hit it pretty hard. But we've seen guys hit their heads down, get up a little, walk it off, right? He can't walk it off. There is no more of that for Tua Tagovailoa. And he is risking his future. The guy has guaranteed CTE at this point. He really does. And you're looking at guys like Troy Aikman and Steve Young who went through this shit too. Those guys are probably going to suffer in the next 5, 6, 10 years because those two were both famously almost done with their careers because of concussions, where doctors were going to say, you can't play. I blame doctors too right now. Don't be irresponsible. Tell this fucking guy he should never play again. Every single doctor should give him the opinion, Tua, wrap it up. You're done. You're going to have black spots all over your fucking brain in 10 years. You're going to die young if you keep doing this. And I'm not a Tua Tagovailoa fan as a football player. But, man, I don't want to see this kid die young. And I don't want to see him end up having a traumatic brain issue later in his life that, we're all going to hear about as we get older. And it's going to be sad. Dude, you made millions. People think you're a great quarterback. There's going to be a lot of what ifs. But take the Andrew Luck route, man. Get the fuck out. Andrew Luck could have still been a superstar in the NFL, but he decided his health was more important. Tua, you're never going to listen to this, and that's fine. But get the fuck out, man. It's bad. Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
I'm not going to lie. Oh, that's a pick, man. That's a game. I'm not going to lie. That I don't think he very much cares that much. So really because look. You are past the time where you had a chance of like those kind of aspirations, right? And it is very different when you're in the moment and you have the ability to go and you still have the ability to go and chase the things that you want with a heart. You know how your heart is.
I get it.
You know how. So you look. It's a very sensible thing. Probably the most sensible thing to say. I have a future. I have all these things to look out for. You know, it could be really bad for me in the future, or it might be already really bad for me in the future. But you're muted. I don't know if you're muted.
Nothing.
But when it comes down to it, when your heart has been set, I'm doing this. I'm getting all that stuff done. It is not easy to walk away because it's basically, damn the fucking future. Who the fuck cares when I have this in the fucking palm of my hands and I could still have the ability? Because look, the thing is, if he cares about the millions, then he walks away. If he doesn't care about the millions, if his love is football, he's not just going to walk away. God damn it, Discord. He's not just going to walk away.
I get it, but you think, like, you know, I wonder if Andrew Luck has reached out to him. You remember Chris Borland? Wasn't even that long ago. Chris Borland retired at 24, and he was a future star for the 49ers, one of the best linebackers in the NFL.
I know.
And I wonder if these guys have reached out to him and been like, man, yeah, I get it. I get it. I get it when you're that young, when you do have the talent, you look at that team around you, and that's probably the hardest part too, right? Because Andrew Luck was on the Colts. They were good, not great. It was all because of him, right? Tua's looking around going, I'm part of this. It's not Tua driving this. I'm part of this. I know I can figure out a way to get the football into Jalen's hands and Tyreek hands, hand the ball off to Raheem behind me and things like that, and HN. Like, I get it. I understand. If I could just stay upright and stay healthy enough to get these guys the football, we have championship aspirations. I get it. I get it. But it's just from a human perspective. You play a violent game. You are going to get hit and get hit hard. You did it to yourself this time. But you're going to get sacked again.
The thing is, I don't even think it's from a human perspective necessarily, because I think it's also a human perspective to want to go and get that thing, to be irrational, and the fact that you have this ambition and you go for it.
Ambition, yes.
It's especially a manly perspective in order to fucking.
It is.
But it is also a human perspective, and it's specifically of probably a wiser perspective to say, like, look, maybe you should calm it down a little bit. But those things clash all the time, and it's completely understandable for him to say, look, I want to listen to all you guys. I completely understand it, but I can't let this go.
Do you also think he sees his brother as a better quarterback than him in college and thinking, fuck this, he's going to come have a better career than me? I need to get at least one chip before he gets in here. Because as compared to him, I suck balls. Like,
no, I don't think he's thinking about that.
I see what you're saying. It's not heart versus mind. It really is heart versus mind.
It's not so simple. It really isn't.
But this is where family comes in. And you don't listen to family, I get it. But your family needs to sit you down really and be like, we can't support you anymore.
Well, but the thing is
you're not invited to Christmas.
I hate you. But the thing is, though, is as your family, yes, you want to be able to, you want to say to them, look, you need to think about your future, but also, how much does that change the person from being what they are if they're not going for the thing that they want? Because look, also, yeah, it was. The Dolphins investing that much in Tua with his concussion history was already dumb as shit, and then not getting a good backup was dumb as shit. This is
worse than the Jets leaving Zach Wilson, because at least Zach Wilson his brain isn't mush.
Yeah. So, yes, the Dolphins have been. There's a whole different Dolphins perspective on this, because I wouldn't want Tua to come back if I'm the Dolphins.
Now, it's also, I think, this dumb perspective with young quarterbacks of we can't get a good guy because it might threaten him in his position. Yeah. And that's probably where they were going from. And that just tells me that's not your starting quarterback.
I don't think that's where they were going from. I just don't. I don't know. I think they felt fine with Skylar Thompson for some reason because they
might as well have gotten Nathan fucking Peterman. Maybe that's their third player. Yeah. Who's their third string? I'm looking at.
Yeah, but there is a lot that goes into the conversation about whether or not he's going to continue football, especially from his side and from everywhere. Then, because we simplify it a lot when I don't think it's that simple.
When do you, as a Dolphins organization, tell him no?
You should have told him that already.
Agreed. But when do you do that?
I wouldn't be surprised if you tell him that now. Because the thing is, look, you love Tua. You would want him there. He is your starting quarterback. But I believe I heard this as a Bill Belichick quote. It's probably not only his quote, but your best ability is your availability. And
Agreed.
if you are not able to play, then we can't have you there.
Do you cut him for his own safety and make an agreement with all the other owners? Don't bring him on.
I think that's a little fucked up.
But he could sue the league. But you do that because you're like, listen, this kid's not going to stop. We need to do. God, it's Tim Boyle. Tim Boyle's their backup right now.
Tyler Thompson and Tim Boyle.
Dude,
yeah.
Tyler Huntley's there. Just fucking play Huntley. You kidding me?
Yeah, they just picked up Snoop Huntley. Yeah, but
you know what? Though?
can't
Like, I get the collusion. I would take a lawsuit and just be like, let's do it.
You can't do that.
Let's do it. That's
You
fine.
can't do that.
But like, I think that's the only way right now to stop this kid from hurting himself.
Can't do that.
I get. Listen, yeah, you can.
Look.
They did it. They did it to Cap. And that was for PR.
No, that's especially if he's cleared to play.
If he's cleared to play, every
Dolphins-
doctor needs to be sued.
The Dolphins would.
Any
He's
doctor
cleared to
that
play, he's
clears
cleared
this
to
man
play.
to play,
If he's
the
cleared to
Dolphins
play,
should
he's
cut him
cleared
and
to
sue that doctor for malpractice.
I think that's a bit much. I really do.
You're a shitty doctor. If you look at a pro football player with 4 concussions in 3 years, and you clear this man to come back and play contact football, you are a bad doctor. Because you would not do that with the high school kid.
If he is cleared to play, I don't care. I'm not going to lie to you. If he is cleared to play, I do not care. It is up to him.
I get it.
If he wants to go and fucking die on a football field, why do I care? Like that's the thing.
Agreed.
Look, you want to talk about legit heart of a warrior back then? Like, you want to talk about, people are so rough and fucking tumble back then. Why are we bitching if Tua wants to go and play now?
Because here's the thing. Even back then, the league was saying flat out, if Steve Young, and this was Steve Young and fucking Troy Aikman, I think maybe had 2 back concussions at that point in their career. And there were people then saying these 2 guys shouldn't be playing football anymore. It was already a thing back then. And they were criticized for coming back on the field in the 90s. Both of them were criticized for coming back on the field. So it's not like, and I always hate this thing, we know so much more about concussions. No, motherfuckers, we always knew it was bad for you. We always knew rocking your brain against your skull was going to lead to long-term effects. That's why I hate all this stuff about, we know so much more. I've known since I was young that a concussion is really fucking bad. That, you can break your neck in football. All these things I was taught in the early 90s, okay? This has never been a secret or a mystery. But also, when guys get bad concussions and they get enough of them, it is also very common for everyone in football to go, dude, you should hang it up. And this is at the high school level. This is at the college level where you start to put that pressure on players.
If people want to go and say that to him, that's fine. I just think, if he's going to be cleared to play, he wants to do it. I mean, that's up to
the laissez-faire.
Yeah, that's up to organizations to pick him up and stuff like that.
I think less of the organization. I think less of Mike McDaniels. I think Mike McDaniels, it's an indictment against him for allowing him to come back and play because he's just looking at, and I don't want to hear anything of, I care about the human side of this. No, you don't. No, you don't. If you're going to, anybody that lets Tua Tagovailoa come back and play does not give a shit about their players. You don't care. You don't care. You're allowing this young man to come and ruin his life over a chance at getting a Super Bowl. And I get it. It's a business. It's a business. And in business, there's dirty things that get done, but this is as dirty as it gets. And it's bad. I will think less of everyone in their organization. And I already think really low of the Dolphins. I already do.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about all that. But, it's what it is what it is. Very contentious on this topic.
It is, because you're more of a laissez-faire, live and let live people. And I get it. It's a libertarian approach. And mine is a little more authoritarian. Yeah, in terms of safety, but it's also more of it's more of an emotional response.
No, it's a fair response. I don't blame people for having that response. It's a natural response.
Yeah.
But I think if you're gonna, I don't see the necessary reason of stopping, because he's not just going and killing himself. That's not what he's doing. Yeah, no, he's not just going and killing himself. We do a lot of things in our daily life that has further ramifications in the future.
This is like the Krillin owned
all the time.
It's a Tua concussion count. It's going to get to the same level as the Krillin owned counter.
But there's plenty of things you could do. Look, he needs to stop running. Like, stop being fucking stupid. Like, just don't run. Be a pocket quarterback. Throw it away as much as possible. Like, do that. Like, there's plenty of things you could fucking do in order for him to not get hit. And also, if you get pushed, don't let your head hit the ground, because that was zone.
This is the same thing as a boxer that's obviously punchy. You blame everyone else and the boxer for allowing him back in. Yes, it's the boxer's choice, but you blame the promoters. You blame the coach that's allowing him to do it when a boxer is obviously punchy and they don't belong there anymore.
Boxing also a completely different sport than football.
It is, but it's a similar thing with the head trauma. It's similar with the head trauma where you can see a guy that doesn't belong there anymore.
It's not. It's not at all. In football, as a quarterback, you can avoid head trauma pretty easily, actually.
And as a boxer, you can't do just stop.
No, you can't. No,
just don't fucking fight anymore. When you're punchy, it's done.
If you're actually boxing, you cannot avoid being hit.
Agree, but it's a similar concept of
no, it's not.
You know a guy doesn't belong out there. It's not, because you know when a boxer shouldn't be out there.
Okay,
when they're punchy, they're done.
We're over 2 hours.
We are over 2 hours. You're just being obtuse.
I'm not.
You're being obtuse.
We don't need to litigate this the whole time.
Anyway, yes, we're over 2 hours. We're going to close this out. We're going to try and do this as much as we can. It might be me solo. Dave might jump on solo, but we're just going to come. We won't have as much longer. This won't always be 2 hours. Might be an hour. Might be 30 minutes. Might be a little bit. But we just want to come in, jump in. Nate, we always appreciate you jumping in. You keep us alive. You make us feel young again by all of your comments. But we appreciate anybody that watched. We appreciate all that. Like, share, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll be back one of these days. Maybe we'll do this, and this will be the first time. This will be definitely Wednesday. We'll be back. Definitely Wednesday. We'll be back. But, we might say we're going to do this a lot, and then we'll see you again in like 9 months. Who knows? All right, everyone, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We're out of here. Bye.